Tired of the silence, the sugar-coated lies. Another headline screaming behind vacant eyes. They build up their walls so high and so strong, but the truth's gonna break.
Hey, good morning, Bessie. How are you?
Too long.
Tater, good morning, lovely. Thank you for that heart me. I appreciate it, Bessie.
Fingers, nobody takes the blame. This pressure's building is starting to crack. Ain't no turning back now, ain't no holding
Tater,
back.
thank you for that heart me.
I'm about to say it, yeah, I'm about to scream.
Doing good. Thank you for asking.
The real life's bleeding out in the cold. Gotta break the mold, gotta let it unfold. I'm about to say it, every single word. The uncomfortable truth finally gonna be heard. I'm gonna say it.
No, I have to go and check it out. I didn't get a chance to see it yet. I will go and look, though, after the broadcast. I promise, Bestie. You got my word on that. Thank you for those roses. I appreciate that, Bestie. How's everybody doing? Listen, we're gonna change it up. We're gonna change it up a little bit today. We're still going to continue talking about what we have been talking about the past couple of days. But before we get to that, we're gonna start out on a different course. We're gonna do it this way. You said exhausted. You had a long night, Tater? Lori said, please do. I promise. I promise you I will. I know if you sent it, it's something really, really good. Oh, you know what? I forgot. Hold on, y'all. I promised Christy I would send her an invite, and I didn't. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Am I spelling her name right? Crap. I can't remember how she spelled her name. Okay, hold on. It asked me to send her. Okay. Biggs, my boy, what's good with you? We're going to get into some things in a few seconds. Hold on. Oh, okay. Okay, you couldn't. I got you.
What's up, my boy?
Not much, bro. But we're going to we're going to continue talking about what we was talking about as far as uh you know death row and stuff like that. But I'm gonna open up the show. We're gonna talk about some race matters before we transition into the like death row stuff and Snoop stuff. How you been doing, brother?
Living a dream, man. Living a dream.
I heard that, man. Hey, at least you doing something right because a lot of people are afraid to dream and they don't want to chase it.
Let me explain something to you. Me living in a dream, sometimes it's a nightmare, and sometimes it's not. But it's a dream, baby. That's it. Gotta make it work the way you can, baby.
That's right. That's right, man. Hey, look, you got something to hold on to as long as you're doing that. Once you start dreaming, man, life ends.
Let me tell
What
you
you living
something.
for?
Let me tell you something. As a man, you have your dreams, but you want your people you love to have dreams come true.
Exactly. You are exactly right. You are exactly right, brother. I cannot find. She's gonna be mad, but I can't find her. I can't find her. Okay, but look, y'all, we're gonna get started. We're gonna get started. Hang out with me, big.
Yeah. I'm just chilling. My daughter got the day off school. She upstairs chilling, so I'm just relaxing.
All right, good. Bet mine in there too. Bella B, welcome in. This is Soda Pop. I see you, brother. How you doing? There's a couple of things we're gonna talk about. My people. First of all, for my people that's from Philly, you all gonna know when I talk about Independence Hall, right? Y'all know that area. Um, and of course, when you get to Independence Hall, when you're down there, it's like when you first walking up to in the building of Independence Hall. On your right, you have. You know what? No, I'll get into that later. Let me start off this way. The past couple of days, I've had people that I thought were friends or people I had great respect for. Um, People that I've had people I've never met before. And it seems like they've on some of the things that I say or some of the events that's going on today makes them feel like they're being attacked or it's a racially fueled dialogue between the two. And so I want to take a moment to just address that and try to bring both sides to a common place. Yeah, I do understand this, that it's designed for us not to come together. I get that, and I know other people get that. We've talked about it. It's been said by several people, so I know other people understand that not just the GOV, but just society as a in its totality wants us to continuously be divided because as long as we're divided, they can basically rule over us, and that's something that I feel like we've got to get to a point where we've got to break that cycle. Can we do it by ourselves? No, absolutely not. Am I going to do it myself sitting here talking about it? Absolutely not. However, welcome in, Bestie. How you doing, Just saying? However, I think on the flip side of that coin, we've all lived long enough to know and understand that not doing anything about it doesn't work. But when I stop and think about it, although it really boils down to a misunderstanding. It boils down to wanting people wanting to be heard or respond instead of listening. And so I'm I'm trying to y'all work with me. I'm doing this off the cuff, but normally I have I've them written notes out on how I'm gonna talk about stuff and present it. But this is off the cuff. This is strictly freestyling. But here's where I believe the problem is. I've heard people say that. Oh, hold on 1 second, y'all. I'm sorry, my daughter's calling. Hold on.
Hello, my peoples. Today, on February 17th, 2026, I would like to say hello to all my peoples. Just a quick commercial break for my boy. You know what I mean? Nah, he on the phone with his daughter there. He said to hold on right quick. Did you hear me?
Sorry, y'all. That's my daughter. She's at work and a bird guy came in her store. She's scared of birds. She's afraid of birds. But here, I want to let me say it this way, and why I say I believe it's a misunderstanding. I think misunderstanding might be not the right word to use. You have people who are so in a haste to get their point across, to get their point out, to get their point of view out, that we don't stop and listen. And so I'm going to try to help bridge this gap the best way that I think I can do this. Now, with us, with people, my culture, my color, my race, I think that when we are speaking on history or the events that happen in history, I think we are being, by us being pro black, people who don't understand. There she is. She made it in. Christy, thank you. I was trying to find your name to send you an invite, and I couldn't. I'm glad you made it in, love. Um, Pro black is looked at as being racist, and that's not the case. In fact, that's far from the case. That's not what we are. All right. What we are trying to do is ask for equality.
My
We're
boy,
not lazy,
my
huh?
boy, my boy. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what I mean? You was 100% right. You know what I
Thank
mean?
you. I appreciate that.
Not to cut you off, man, but
No, you good.
I'm going through something similar to that right now. Teaching. You know what I'm saying? Because my girl is white
Hmm.
too,
Right.
and I'm explaining stuff to her that she didn't know.
See.
See, the stuff that they only heard or what they was taught is what they thought. Now
Hmm.
I'm 51 years old. You know what I'm saying? And some people might call it naive, some people might call it stupid, but it's certain stuff that I show her in the black culture. She 51 years old that she did not know.
Yeah.
She did not
That.
know. She did not. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I done dated black, white, Puerto Rican at 51 years old. When I just want peace. This woman brings me peace.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's all I want. But at the same time, just because I gotta understand everybody's culture. And I understand I'm listening to her culture, where she come from. And then I show her my culture. And she sit there and be like, I never knew it was like that. Because where she was from, they didn't talk about
Well, and to your point, that's because I'm glad you brought that up because I was actually going to say something, speak on that too, because my son, he lives in Arizona. He's like, so when he comes and visit, when he comes here to Atlanta and visit, and I'm taking him places and telling him things about black culture, black history, or just the Civil War, because you got to understand where we live, the Civil War happened. And he's like, Dad, I didn't know that. They don't teach us that here in Arizona. You get me? Like they might mention it in their classes, but it's not something they harp on. It's not something that they drive the point home to.
it. What
And
I
so to your point, go ahead.
what I notice is I'm from Connecticut and I live in Bridgeport. Bridgeport is hood as hell. You know what I'm saying? It's hood. So a lot of stuff that I found out that I knew was way longer than Black History. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of motherfuckers only teach about Black History when it's Black History Month. We live that shit. It ain't no
Mm-hmm.
1 month out of a fucking year. It's a lifetime for us.
That part.
So when
That
you,
part right there.
so if you only getting, oh, 1 month a year, you get the same old story from first to fucking 12th grade. That's all the story you know. And that's not their fault. It's the system fault.
It's not.
Because
Mm-hmm.
ever since social media started and keep it 100, I learned more in social media about my history as a black man than I ever learned in
Right.
them motherfucking 12 months that it took for me to know about black history, the 12 years that took me to learn about black history.
Yeah.
And
And
social media ain't been out that long.
hold on. She said every time she taps a report thing comes. Let me see something. Okay, nah, yeah, it's not coming up on my end. All right. I was just making sure the platform wasn't trying to, you know, because
I'm, sa-
Biggs, we're going places they don't want us to go right now.
I'm saying a lot of stuff being like I'm 51. I'll be 52 this year. And a lot of stuff that I learned and a lot of stuff that's going on is stuff that's not taught in societies where I come from. It's not taught marketing. It's not taught, you know what I'm saying, how to deal with Dow Jones. It's not taught how to build, you know what I'm saying, wealth. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's not taught in the cities.
Hmm.
You're not know
Well,
you they give you a what? 3 weeks on stocks. They don't teach you about life plans. They don't teach you about life policies. They don't teach you about insurance. They don't teach you. They only teach you how to coexist in society. That's all they
right.
teach you.
Well, that is strategically designed to do that. Well, strategically designed to do that, brother. And that's here's the thing with that. Because it wasn't meant for us to have generational wealth. Because you got to realize we did have thriving communities. We did have our own schools. We did have our own banks. We did have our own hospitals. We did have our own businesses. When you go into because and to your point, I never knew about Black Wall Street. I was maybe 46 years old, like a couple of years ago, and I found out about the Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I didn't hear about that in school, you know, but we were thriving communities. But then you also see what happened, and I want to make sure while I'm saying this, y'all, I want to make sure y'all know this isn't the racial talk. I'm going to get it from both sides. I'm also I want to address this just listen, just rock with me and listen. Y'all see where I'm coming from. When Greg King, exactly. So like we had the ability to thrive with stocks, bonds, loans, uh, credit history, all of that because we had it all within our own community. Deborah Duke, good morning to you. And once we had that and they saw that we could thrive on our own without having to use their resources, their banks, their companies, and other. We're not generating money into their stuff, but we're doing fine on our own. They come and destroy it. Now I'll bring it a little bit closer here to where I live. We have this huge man-made lake called Lake Lanier. Now, before this was a lake, and I mean
It was
like
a
a
town.
popular,
It
it
was a
was a
town.
town called Oscarville.
And they
Exactly.
flooded it.
Yes. All behind the lie of a YT female, allegedly. She was saying that someone of our color
Did
raped
that.
her or
Rosewood.
assaulted her.
Rosewood, just like
Ro-
Rosewood.
yes, Rosewood in Florida. Exactly. So so we had these towns, these things of our own that operated beautifully and was making money and and generating wealth, which would have ultimately led to generational wealth had we been able to sustain that if they would have allowed us to sustain those things.
But
But
quiet as kept. Central Park is that too.
it
Central Park
is,
was a thriving black town
yes,
neighborhood that they flooded. You know what I'm saying?
exactly,
And there's many
exactly,
towns like that.
right. And the reason these happen is because we're just gonna go there. We're gonna go there. I'm gonna go there, y'all. Bear with me. We were brought here to be served. Our ancestors were brought here to be servants. And it was already put in place of a GOV was put in place for us to not even be thought of as equal to them, right? Um, when the Constitution was written, what we was what 3/5 of a man. We wasn't even considered full men. Our ancestors wasn't. So, but what happened is, even through all of that, our ancestors persevered, built on their own, made things happen, and stuff like that. And so, but what ended up happening when they saw that our ancestors could thrive in these our own communities and cities and towns? Well, no, 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 no. That's too close of us being equal to them. So, like you said, it flooded, or in the case of Black Wall Street, it burned to the ground and stuff like that. Well, I bring that part up too, and where I'm going in that is, I think YT people, not all YT people are racist. I want to make sure I get that out there too. Not all YT people are racist. I don't think that. But and I've heard people say, well, BLK people can't be racist either. Um, that's I'm not that's not even a debate that I'm trying to get into right now. What I'm trying to say is, I think from certain white YT people, they feel like we are trying to get a hand me out or something like that. And I'm here to tell them that we're not even asking for a hand me out, a handout, or hand me downs, anything like that. We're not lazy or anything like that. The only thing we're asking for is equality. That's it.
But see, this is what a lot of people don't understand. What do equality look like for them? Equality look like they're missing out.
Exactly.
Equality look like what we give you was good enough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's an uncomfortable thing to them.
It's not uncomfortable because it's only uncomfortable if it's a possibility it can happen.
Well, they've already seen it happen. That's
Uh-uh.
what I'm saying.
They
They've already
not, they
seen us
haven't.
thrive.
No, what they seen us thrive in is something that they got control of. They won't
Right.
see us thrive on something of our own. If we
Exactly.
have something on our own, they're coming for it. They're coming to war it down.
Exactly.
They're coming to take it. They don't want us to have our own. They take everything that we have and make it theirs, one way or another. When they put that dollar sign behind it, it changes. And
So that's
that's
what
what
I'm
it
saying.
does.
That's what I mean by it makes them feel uncomfortable. You see, they've already seen that we can do it on our own, and when we do it, when our people do it on their own, we don't spend money where they are. They don't get our dollars. We can do it on our own. They've already lived that and saw that, and so they don't want to go back to that. And when I say they, y'all, I want to make sure y'all understand. Biggs and I are not saying all YT people, okay? Because some people are going to hear the conversation from the outside or in the hallway, and not they ain't been in here, and think that we're saying that, and that's not what we're talking about.
Hold on. I'm gonna keep it 100. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
My girl is a white tee, a redhead white girl,
Mm-hmm.
51 just like me, and she respects me, treat me as a man. And ain't no woman better, black, white, Puerto Rican, nothing. I ain't picky. I'm picky on how they treat me. And
That part.
no matter what, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What she don't know, I teach. What I don't know, she teach. If you don't know something about a culture, you can be racist on the fact of you didn't know it. But when you find out about it and you know the truth, you know what I'm saying? My baby loved me. And when she see the story, she didn't know none of this shit. You know what I'm saying? She didn't know
Mm-hmm.
about Emmett Till. She didn't know about Rosewood. I'm schooling her on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to hear nothing because yes, I do feel like it's a problem out here, and I do understand that. But every white tea person is not the problem. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? If you true to your true and you don't know, and you ask questions, maybe you do need a black friend. Maybe you did need somebody to keep it real. Because me breaking it down to her family and how we feel, you know what I'm saying? Me breaking it down like, oh, black people always knew this. Y'all just waking up to this shit. You know what I'm saying? We been knew this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not telling you that I'm for 100% peace, love, and all that. I'm not. But the truth is that there's people out here that think that they're better than other people. There's lazy people in all cultures. There's racist
Mm-hmm.
people in all cultures, but it's only one racist people that can dictate if I live or die.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that's the truth.
You know what I'm saying? So if y'all want to sit there, your white team want to sit there and say, "Oh, he hating all this, he's racist," say it. But every day that I wake up to my pale face red hat, and I give her a kiss. Good morning, baby.
Happy. Happy. You know, hey, I wakes up to mine happy too. Go to bed and I happy too. You know,
No,
it, it
hey, I'm saying I ain't arguing, I ain't fighting. I have a
nah.
motherfucker 12-year. I have a 12-year-old daughter that I got custody of, full custody of, and she's on the
Yeah.
honor roll. So, you know what I'm saying? I ain't being no more. I ain't no lazy motherfucker. None of that shit. I do what I got to do. And you know what I'm saying? I just say it like this: if somebody's, it don't matter what color you is. If a person loves you, if a person treats you right, color don't got nothing to do with how they treat you. Because a motherfucker can have your exact same color and treat you like shit.
Mm-hmm. You're right. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
But now I want to flip out because I had brought up in the beginning. I was talking about Independence Hall in Philly, and so I want to say this on the flip side of that. You're right, Big Mel. Good morning to you. Racism is taught. Exactly. YT people that are this way, running away from it and trying to pretend that racism doesn't exist, or not being willing to uh, take ownership of racism happening and trying to strip all black historic things um, from this country is not going to fix the problem. It's only going to ignite more of a fire and cause more division. And the reason why I bring that up, I'm talking about Independence Hall in Philly. If people have been there, when you go to Independence Hall, when you first walk up to it, there's and it's some bricks, but it's also glassed encased. But it is the foundation of George Washington's house. And when you're there, they also have different plaques or memorial type things, um, talking about some of the slaves that he had, the black slaves that he had. And so we have the leader of our country, which I say leader very loosely, but we have a leader of our country that has sent people to Independence Hall in Philly and ordered them to pull down all of the slave plaques and stuff. And they're not demeaning the slaves. It's just the significance that they play. Basically, it's George Washington giving them their roses, stuff like that. And actually looking at them as people, and they have plaques to commemorate them. And he has people going out there and pulling them down by hand, taking down all the things that are basically showing honor or reverence to the slaves. That's not going to help. It's going to make it worse. Here in the South, as I just stated to y'all previously, where we live, the Civil War took place. All right. And so we have people here who love flying that Confederate flag, and the way they try to justify it, instead of just calling a spade and calling a thing and stating that, hey, this is racial. This is symbolic to racism. They say it's heritage. It's the heritage. Y'all, I'm gonna give y'all some history lesson that you probably didn't get while you were in school. The Confederates had that Confederate flag for maybe a year or two. And I'm here to convey to you that there's no way you can have a heritage in 1 or 2 years. Okay? It just doesn't happen. And so when people here say that they feel offended by that Confederate flag, instead of trying to defend that by saying it's heritage, when we indubitably know that that's a lie because it only lasted for a year or two. So you can't say that's heritage. And then where I live in Marietta, all of the housing projects where our kind typically use, they've torn down and gentrified it to where they've got these $300,000, $400,000, $600,000 homes, and they built that on the land. And anything that we had, okay, so now the land where we had the only hospital where my kind could go to, they built a park on it and a splash pad, and they named it after a young black lady, Elizabeth Porter, a young black nurse that worked at that hospital. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of the things that we had pertaining to black history, our old all black high school, it's maybe one building, a section of the building is there. The football field, they built a Turner AME church on that. Well, it's a large parking lot on it now. Across the street, you got the Lemon Street Elementary School. That was the all black elementary school. But for the most part, if you're looking for black history in our city, you blink, you'll miss it. And that's a shame because black history is prominent in our city. And so I say all of that because when you have a leader that's doing all he can to strip any notation of black history in our country, looks a damn sure a lot like racism. And I really listen. I also get where people they'll send pictures. Well, nah, look, he was hanging out in the '90s. He was this BLK guy and this BLK guy and that really means nothing. That really means nothing. It's your actions. But just so happens when he sends people out there to strip all of the black history away from Independence Hall, right there where George Washington's home, or the foundation of his home was, or yeah, is. Uh, he had those people go out there and take it down. Well, a judge is blocking that and saying, no, no, sir, I don't care what your position is in the country. That's still part of this country's history, and it is to remain there. And so I think that's what we need to start doing here. And we're actually going to listen to some audio about that particular situation that's going on. But that's why I opened up with that dialogue, because I want y'all to understand something. We know the game that they play. We all know the game that they play. But that don't mean we got to play with it. We've got to get to a point where we realize that we are more powerful, united. And we have to keep it that way. Before I get to the audio, let me say this thing too. Because somebody put this in the live, and for me, it's true, and it's really true for everybody. Um, we are all mixed. You can go either way about it. I'll start with the white. I'll start with the YT. Because of the heinous actions and crimes that was done um, in the history of this country, we know that Massa would go out back and grape, and sexually assault women, and from that came children. Those children went on and had children with blacks, with white, and so it's all mixed. Now, let me flip y'all over to the BLK side. There's this thing called the Eve gene. Everybody is a descendant from Africa. It's the alpha and the omega of mankind. It all originated in Africa. So, YTs that are racist against BLK people and minorities, I just have one question. How do you live hating yourself? Because the very fabric of your DNA came from Africa. The only reason your skin is brighter or of a lighter pigmentation is because where certain people migrated to when they left Africa.
The Caucasus Mountains, my brother. The Caucasus Mountains.
Talk about it, man. Talk about it. You see what I'm saying?
That's where you get the
So
name Caucasoid from.
exactly, exactly. So what? So where? How do you get away from yourself? Do you really? Do you really understand that by you not liking minorities, you have to say that you don't like yourself
My brother, can
because
I
you
get a
have
second?
minority in you.
Can I get a
Absolutely.
second of your? Can I get a second of your time? Now,
Hmm.
this is what happened. Hannibal used to run up and destroy our villages, and what happened was the men would run up to the Caucasus Mountains, and the women would stay there. They would continue laying with Hannibal's soldiers, and when the soldiers left, you come down, and then it happens year after year until the soldiers' sons grew up to be half Caucasoid, half Hannibal. Boom.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that gave
Hmm.
us Italians. Whoop-doo. And I only
There's no
got a
getting
12th
away
grade,
from it.
and I only got a 12th grade education. So if I know that.
There's somebody right now that just heard our story that is really upset right now. Okay. But it's the facts, right? It's the facts.
Why you think Italians got big noses and big lips, baby? Olive skin.
The statues that they found, big lips, big noses.
I'm just
You get me?
saying.
Come on, man. So we got to stop that. We've got to get to a point where together is just what it's got to be. You know. Let's listen to this audio where the judge is blocking the cheddar color coat leader's attempt to rewrite history.
Federal judge in Philadelphia is dismantling Donald Trump's Ministry of Truth, his Orwellian attempt to rewrite history, to
That's it, baby
erase
girl. It's the truth.
slavery and the stain of slavery from our public consciousness, to literally rip down with bare hands plaques on the president's house in Independence Hall Memorial in Philadelphia commemorating the 9 slaves owned by George Washington because Donald Trump finds it distasteful. And Judge Roof is showing what federal judges in year 2 of this administration, now robust, now with courage, now willing to take on the Trump administration in a way they weren't to a year ago, what they're doing about it. They're quoting George Orwell. They're telling the world that Donald Trump is not able to erase facts and history that are meaningful to the American people, or otherwise, as Donald Trump is busy trying to put back up Confederate generals as statues and put their names back on military bases. The fact that I'm going to show the clip in a minute. The fact that he sent a couple of National Park Service lackeys to go with their bare hands and rip down these plaques from the president's house, which commemorates the location where President Adams and President Washington resided, in the cradle of our democracy, Philadelphia, where I've been since I was a child, which I've frequent, and I've been to Independence Hall, the reproduction of where the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence were signed, to the Liberty Bell exhibit, which is next to this president's
on my page
house,
after the broadcast,
to the Betsy Ross Memorial about the person who allegedly, mythically created the flag. Donald Trump has no respect for anything that has to do with our history. He allowed the Capitol, another cradle of our democracy, to be attacked and burned for the first time since the War of 1812. And Judge Roof, senior status judge, Eastern District of Pennsylvania, and people like Governor Josh Shapiro are putting a stop to it. I'm Michael Popak. You're on Midas Touch and Legal AF. I'm fired up. I'm glad we have judges like Judge Roof, and I'm glad the senior status judges are leading the way once again,
they were taught
citing too frequently George Orwell.
Etc.
Now, this all comes down to a set of plaques. I'm going to show you a video of it being torn down in a new memorial called President's House, which Philadelphia and Pennsylvania found through historical research, which is the place where Adams and Washington lived. And this was a memorial to the 9, I'm going to read their names in a minute, the 9 enslaved people who worked, 9 enslaved people who were enslaved to do jobs for George Washington. That's the right way to put it. And Donald Trump wants to change that. So 3 weeks ago, he sent a couple of guys in.
All right, this is some pictures that I took when we was there. Let me see if y'all can see it. Good. Okay, so what you see right there, it's encased, but that's the foundation of George Washington's house, right? And then, man, I got more pictures. I don't know where they are, but that's walking up to Independence Hall right there. And so over to this side and down here, closer to the building on this side, encases the Freedom Bell. I took a picture of that too. Let me see if I find, while it's playing, let me see if I can find it.
To rip the signs down. Now, this is a joint collaboration of the federal government, the Interior Department, the Park Service, and Philadelphia and Pennsylvania to operate this site. But they can't deface it. They can't rewrite it. They can't put their Trumpian graffiti on it. Here's a clip of these guys ripping down the signs.
Developing right here and right now tonight on Independence Mall, a piece of Philadelphia history was removed this afternoon by the federal government. Crews dismantled plaques telling the stories of the 9 enslaved people who lived in the president's house and were owned by President George Washington. Last year, President Trump ordered National Park staff to flag any displays that might be seen as...
All right, let me pause it real quick. Now, as you get closer to that building, that's the bell, Liberty Bell right there. Now, where I showed you, the first picture I showed you, where it's the foundation of George Washington's house, that's where you can find the plaques for his slaves that he had, I guess, respected or showed love to, or had a great deal of respect for, and so on and so forth.
Disparaging to America's past. Philadelphia Mayor Sherelle Parker says the city is conducting a legal review of this tonight.
Little brother, can you send Christy the theme song, the show's theme song? She was asking me about it earlier this morning.
An attorney who advocated for those plaques in 2010 called the removal, quote, outrageous and blatantly racist.
Here's how the Judge Roof, in granting a preliminary injunction against the Interior Department, forcing them to restore the site the way it was. Here's what she says to lead off on page 1, her order today. All history was a palimpsest, scraped clean and reinscribed exactly as often as was necessary. In no case would it have been possible, once the deed was done, to prove that any falsification had taken place.
Lord.
George Orwell, 1984. The judge kicks off her order this way: as if the Ministry of Truth in George Orwell's 1984 now existed, with its motto, ignorance is strength, this court is now asked to determine whether the federal government has the power it claims to dissemble and disassemble historical truths when it has some domain over historical facts. It does not. The President's House is a component of the Independence Historical Park that commemorates the site of the first official presidential residence and the people who lived there. These are the first presidents, including people enslaved by President George Washington. On January 22nd of 2026, the National Park Service removed those panels, as you saw, and displays and video exhibits referencing slavery. The judge goes on page 31 of her order to talk about these enslaved people and how Donald Trump can't whitewash history away, not on her watch. She says on page 31, quoting from a research book and an amicus brief, the people who President Washington held in slavery, which the commemoration of him on those panels include Oni Judge, who was held in slavery as a maid, Austin, Oni's brother, Christopher Shields, held in slavery as Washington's butler, body servant, Giles as a carriage driver, Hercules Posey, held in slavery as a chef, Joe Richardson, held in slavery as a coachman, Moll as a nanny, Paris as a stable worker, Richmond, the son of Hercules, held in slavery as a chimney sweep. She then quotes George Orwell again about the attempted rewrite. And listen to what she calls Donald Trump in this section. She says the largest section, quoting Big Brother's domain in 1984, the largest section of the government's records department consists simply of persons whose duty it was to track down and collect all copies of books, newspapers, and other documents which had been superseded and were due for destruction. In other words, recalling and rewriting again and again without admitting any alteration or admitting any forgery about what had just been rewritten. The government here, the judge says, asserts truth is no longer self-evident, but rather the property of the elected chief magistrate and the appointees and delegates, that's you, Trump, as to his whim to have it scraped clean, hidden, or overwritten. And why? Solely because he has the power. Listen to this quote she takes from oral argument. This is what the Department of Justice lawyer under Donald Trump, an officer of the court sworn to uphold the Constitution, who went to a law school program like mine. This is what this person had the temerity to say out loud in court. At least he admitted it, or she admitted it. Although many people feel strongly about this one way, other people may disagree or feel strongly another way. We're both siding slavery? What's next? We're both siding the Holocaust? There were good people on both sides, the Nazis and the Jews and the Gypsies and the Russians. Ultimately, it is in this context that the government gets to choose the message it wants to convey. Yeah, only in George Orwell's 1984. The message that the government chooses to convey is for the government to choose. I don't get to choose, the lawyer says, what the message is, and it's our position that the city, or by implication, the judge, doesn't either. An agency, the judge continues, or any agency cannot arbitrarily decide what is true based on its own whims and the whims of new leadership, regardless of the evidence before it. Preliminary injunction granted. Arbitrary and capricious action. You cannot rewrite history. Conclusion, page 40. The defendants shall reinstall all panels, displays, and video exhibits that were in place. They shall prevent any additions, removals, or destruction, or further changes to the president's house, except in a mutual written agreement between the defendants and the city of Philadelphia. An order will be entered. I had Josh.
Hold on, y'all. I want to show y'all. I had to go to my pictures in my gallery in my phone. Let y'all see it. Okay, so there. Y'all see? That's one of the plaques commemorating the slaves. Black history. Right there at George Washington's house. Let me see. Behind that is the foundation of George Washington's house. There's a plaque right there. You can't see it because it's white, but it's talking about them. I'll show y'all that. I showed y'all Liberty House. Independence Hall. Showed y'all the bell. That might be it. There's more. I've taken so much more, but I can't find them. That's more of the house. Sorry, that's more of the house. But and it had all of the a lot of slave things right there that he was honoring. George Washington now.
Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, joined me for an interview about how to oppose a lawless president doing lawless and rogue things. And he had this to say to me in the interview. Play the clip.
Where you are eviscerating the trust between law enforcement and the community, as we're seeing in Minneapolis, where you're leaving families to be hungry, as you see, because of the way in which he ripped SNAP away. And I think what we have to do is, yes, we got to win in the midterms, but before that, we need people standing up every single day, not being afraid to speak up, standing up and fighting for what's right. Sometimes it's in a court of law, as I do, and sometimes it needs to be people who are peacefully protesting and standing up to this administration. I think it is all critically important, and I just want to celebrate the people who do stand up for the rule of law every day and do stand up for what's right.
Scaling a business doesn't mean doing everything yourself. The smart.
All right, hold on. That's his promoting his company.
And what I'm observing is that federal judges in the year 2 of this administration
Angie B,
are getting their groove back.
I appreciate that
They
you're
are
awesome.
understanding what their inherent authority stretched to its outer boundaries is. They're understanding what contempt proceedings are about. And I predict, and I think I'm going to be right about this, or I wouldn't make the prediction, that more and more federal judges are going to be holding the Trump administration, the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, Interior, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, and anybody else in contempt. Somebody, many people are at risk to going to jail in the Trump administration, not waiting around for the new Department of Justice in 2028 or 2029, but now on the receiving end of a contempt order by a federal judge. That ceiling was broken by Judge Boasberg last year in D.C. in a case involving 137 men made to disappear in El Salvador, and him starting criminal contempt proceedings against Kristi Noem. But other judges are going to pick up the mantle. They have the courage. In fact, I asked Judge Ludick, former Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, who should be our Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, about what's the big change with federal judges. He talks to them regularly. This is what he had to say to me.
Frankly, right, every American
said KK too,
is against Donald Trump today, except his die-in-the-wool MAGA, you believe.
Me too, Bella B.
And, of course, the Congress of the United States.
Welcome in, Monique.
So, but that, tsunami that didn't begin until a month ago was the saving grace for the lower federal courts. Whatever cliche you want to stiffen their spines, but actually, no, more appropriately, it gave them the courage, the needed courage from above them or outside them to do what they knew they had to do and wanted to do all along. And that's why you've seen floodgates, every single thing leading up to most recently. And this had begun 4 months in the last 4 months of last year, 6 months of last year, actually, where it began. The Department of Justice and every other government official that appeared before the courts, including the Solicitor General of the United States, another law clerk of mine.
I was just going to say, don't leave out John Sauer, your other clerk.
They changed the rules for the contest so that
all of
only
those officials
red hats will be able to use their passport.
Addressing the federal courts of the United States in court with open contempt.
Yeah.
And actually lying to the federal judges to their faces. And that, the federal judges began to push back on that the last 6 months of last year. Now, when it's clear that they're going to do this for the next 3 years, those same federal judges, meaning all of the lower court federal judges, they're not going to have it.
So we will continue to follow what happens next as Donald Trump tries to rewrite history and write out and whitewash slavery here on Midas Touch Network and on Legal AF. Take a minute, hit the free subscribe button here. Come over to Legal AF YouTube, do the exact same thing. Until my next report, I'm Michael Popak. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention...
All right, y'all. Check it out. In between that and the second segment, I want to show y'all something else from that trip. It was good going back to Philly and getting to go back to the ECW arena and stuff like that. But look, y'all, when I tell y'all I got a newfound respect for Rocky, when my wife and our baby girl walked up these stairs. All right, I got a newfound respect for him, man. And I'll post that video later on after the broadcast too. But we made it. We made it to the statue. That's after we rolled. I rolled back down, but that's us at the Rocky statue, But y'all remember, Biggs and I was talking, and we were saying how it's going to take people to come together. No, little brother, not at all. I was breathing so hard. Here's something that you have to understand, and I'm solely speaking to the YT people who want to possess the same mentality that this country was built on. This is a message for you all. Times have changed. And remember when we were saying unity is what's going to overcome everything, right? Well, just so happens.
Greenwood out there doing that here.
That yesterday, y'all know, it's supposed to be President's Day, but as y'all all know, we don't have one. We have somebody pretending to be one. But in the great city of New York, a group of people of different nationalities, different shades of skin color, came together and they congregated outside this building called Trump Towers. And they was letting it be known just how in unison they were in agreeing that the cheddar color coat leader needs to be out of the president's house. What a beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing. Remember, like we said, together we are a lot stronger than we are divided. And that's why they want to keep us that way.
My boy.
Donald Trump was losing.
Huh?
Oh, no, go ahead, man. Go ahead. I have something to say. Go ahead, rock that.
No. It's on you. You got it.
See, the thing about that is I'm a realist. And I know unity and all that shit is a must. We all got to stick together. But it's all in your face. It's all in your face right now. The way they're talking and the courts about what they want and they not getting it, they beating around the bush questions. This don't got nothing to do with color no more. This got all to do with power. And the fact is, this power, it is not for somebody to sit there. You teach your kids, oh, court, put your hand on the Bible, all this and all that. These people ain't even doing that in our face. So if they doing that in the courtroom, what do you think we feel? And this is what I'm telling people, like, yeah, everybody's sitting there like, oh my God, this been going on. It's been going on when it's a black face looking at a judge. You don't have an option. You have to, for you, it costs so much money to keep you out of jail and they don't even care about the truth because they're showing it right now in our face. How is this court system politically, socially correct if you can see what they're doing in our face and you can see if it was a black person right there, none of this would go on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Brother,
So
like we
how
said,
can the power
it's two different judicial systems. And to your point, it's two different. And I apologize for interrupting you. I just want to make sure I bring this. I'm backing. I'm vetting you on that, on what you're saying. The two different judicial systems is there's a justice system and there's a just us system. Go ahead. You can proceed.
and the crazy thing is they both different sides of the same damn coin. It's just who's fighting it right now, who's in power. You know what I'm saying? And it's a flip of the coin, but it's both the same. It's both the exact same. When we had the First World War, that wasn't that was the first war in the United States. That wasn't because they wanted to save the slaves, because the South was making more money. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the paper. They didn't free the slaves because it was equality. It was free the slaves because South was making more money off free labor. It's always been this.
Look, I don't got tea, but I got coffee.
It's always been this. And you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
I didn't come to this conclusion from a 12th grade education. I came to this conclusion to my own. This shit is ridiculous. And you're showing this
Right,
is not a movie. This ain't a movie. This is Jerry Springer on TV. You can't believe this shit. You can't believe it. This supposed to be the people of power. You allowing people to talk to you like that on TV. Now, criminals see this shit.
Mhm. She said Jenny Jones.
you think criminals don't see this shit? You don't think somewhere, somehow, some criminal gonna say, "Oh, what she did, I can do that." You know what I'm saying? What are you showing? What are you showing these kids? What you was taught all your life is a lie until it's a person of power you're talking to. Okay, you can arrest me for selling illegal narcotics, but you're gonna protect the presidents for sleeping with babies?
W Biggs and alive.
My bad, man. You know what I'm saying? But they're gonna do that. You know what I'm saying?
No lies detected.
You know what I'm saying? It's stupid. And you see it. Everything that the hood been saying and how we treat it, the United States society see it now. Everything that the hood been saying and how society is not fair is right there on TV. And if they got a smart TV, you can rewind it and play it back constantly. You know what I'm saying? It's illiterate. It's dumb.
Whatever works. However you get the message.
You know what I'm saying? It's dumb. And you try to, and you sit there and say, people sit there and say, "Oh, y'all just crazy." If every person of color believes in it,
right, Melody, we
much
love
is
TikTok
that?
Shop.
Every person of color believes in this. To me, everybody is wrong. Everybody just want a free ride. You know what I'm saying? We know what you did to Indians. You know what I'm saying? And much less just the last 3 years that we found out that Africans was in America. So technically, we ain't them Indians ain't the only one that needs shit. Cause y'all sitting up here, you know what I'm saying, doing all this freaky shit off the backs of the people you stole from. And then don't want to give reparations. Come on, man. Y'all let lies, I'm sorry, I get my little reverend in. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace,
Hey. I stop you when you're wrong, but you ain't wrong.
I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just a hood dude. I ain't nobody smart. I ain't going to college for no 12, 13 years. You know what I'm saying? I got a cheap TV. You know what I'm saying? I might have to fix the wire, put some aluminum foil on that motherfucker. And I can see that
Rabbit
shit.
ears, bro.
Motherfucker, I can see that shit. You know what I'm saying? And you mean to tell me all these educated people don't see this shit? They don't want to see it. They're comfortable with this shit. That's why I say they don't want change. Because comfortability, you know what I'm saying? When a person is comfortable, Somebody else is uncomfortable. And don't nobody comfortable want to be level with somebody that's uncomfortable. That's the
That's
facts.
facts.
You know what
That's
I'm saying?
facts.
And like I said, you go to college for 8, 9 years, you go sit there, you know what I'm saying, become a courthouse official, you work hard to sit there, everything you learn and everything your principles is being a lawyer and being a judge, and you hear this bullshit, and I'm supposed to sit there as a regular common nigga, think that it's good?
I
Motherfucker,
know
please.
better. I know
Motherfucker,
better.
please. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? You saying that is telling me cereal tastes better with a fork.
You was going.
The fuck
True.
wrong?
True. True.
Motherfucker, I want
That's
my
true.
cereal with a fork, motherfucker. No milk, just wet cereal. I'm
Yo,
saying like, I'm saying like,
we got to get it.
I'm just saying like we ain't all smart and everything, but we ain't stupid. We don't see the bullshit on the TV. Like we see this shit. This ain't like you gotta rewind it and know it's in throw a flag on the play. No, we see it live, motherfucker. You know what I'm
Live and
saying?
direct. Live
Matter
and
of fact,
direct. Yeah.
you see the bullshit on TikTok. You see it on Facebook. You can't even hide that. Motherfucker with no cable and no Wi-Fi can go to McDonald's and see that shit. So, it don't matter. It don't
That's true.
matter. They know that what they're doing and they doing it in our face. So if they can do something in our face and don't give a fuck how the motherfucker public feel, what the fuck do you think they doing behind our back?
And that's a true statement. That's a true. Even with the Trump Steam files, is right. Like what they've already released, we see how bad it is for orange person. So we can only imagine what he's hiding, how bad that is.
I
You know.
say like this, my brother. If they're going as far to hide what they did to babies, right, on that island, I seen a couple of pictures that I seen grown ass women with butt naked with apples in their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of shit going on. And
Mm-hmm.
motherfuckers
That's
said
bad.
cannibalism is real. It is real. And I say this, let a group of rich Africans was doing that to white tea people. Let's see how that motherfucker
What?
talk then.
What? Hey, have a whole heart stroke, man.
It'll be Rosewood all over again. You know what I'm
I'm trying
saying?
to tell you. Turn the water
But
on.
it's, you
Flood it now. Flood it now.
know what I'm saying? And much less
Yeah.
people will be knocking on people's door. Kids, you know what I'm saying? And it's be real. Some people are savages. Some cultures are savages. Some people are painted as savages, and some people are really savage.
Real
You know what I'm
spill.
saying? You know what I mean? So I'm this guy with a 12th grade education that, you know what I'm saying, about to spark up my leaf. Thank you for giving me a time to speak.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming, brother. Every time you stop by, I appreciate having you.
Nothing but love for my people, so I check you,
Hey,
man.
peace and blessings, brother.
Brother.
Love that dude, man. I love that dude right there, boy. He put it on the table. Yes, Bella B, I did see that the PM got arrested. Absolutely. Dimple Cheeks, welcome in, gorgeous. Welcome in. But let's see how when we all come together, what it sounds like and how beautiful it is. And that's what I'm saying we've got to get to, y'all. That's the only way all of this changes and it works and we overcome it.
It as massive protests spontaneously broke out in front of Trump Tower in New York City, demanding that Donald Trump be impeached. The protest was called Give Donald Trump the Middle Finger on President's Day protest or something like that. Let me show you the protests in front of Trump Tower in New York City on President's Day. There were numerous other things that went down on President's Day that just say ruin Donald Trump's day. Let's show you the protests in front of Trump Tower.
It's a beautiful thing, y'all.
Now, on President's Day, we also learned that there was likely 50 terabytes of additional Epstein files that are still being covered up by the Trump regime, not simply 3 million documents that they're refusing to produce. They probably to date have only produced about 2% of the Epstein files. And just take a look at the Trump officials or people very close to Donald Trump who are on these Epstein files in very serious and significant ways. Donald Trump, Melania Trump, Lutnick, John Felon, the Secretary of the Navy, Paolo Zampoli, one of Donald Trump's diplomats. He introduced Melania to Donald Trump. RFK Jr., Kevin Warsh, the new Fed chair nominee, Dr. Oz, who invited Epstein to a Valentine's Day party, Elon Musk, Steve Bannon, Alex Acosta, Bill Barr, Brett Ratner, and there are more. While all this was going on, you have the Trump regime trying to distract. Donald Trump was out there having his proxies sell God Bless America Trump Bibles on state regime media. You can't make this stuff up. They had Lee Greenwood out there doing that. Here, play this clip.
Lee Greenwood, thank you so much, sir.
I wanted to make sure you understand that I have this Bible. This is God Bless USA Bible, talking about my song. And this is something everybody needs in their home. GodBlessUSABible.com. You can get one of these for Easter. Give it as a gift. I have one for all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sweet of you. You have such a beautiful heart. Thank you so much, Lee, for what you do.
Thank you.
They're selling Trump Bibles on state regime media. I can't even believe that's a sentence that I'm saying. At the same time, the Oval Office is ground zero for the cabal that is the Epstein class. But Donald Trump, when he was heading back on Air Force One last night from Palm Beach, from Mar-a-Lago, which is one of the main sites where a lot of this sex trafficking took place, or at least that of Virginia Giuffre, underage girl who sex trafficked from Mar-a-Lago by Epstein. By the way, Mar-a-Lago brought its spa to Epstein's home, 1.5 or 2 miles away in Palm Beach. One of the things that we learned as well, and Trump and Epstein would have events together, just them two, and they would invite the girls over to Mar-a-Lago. I've done many a video on this, so I don't need to rehash it here. But on Air Force One, Donald Trump was saying that the Epstein files that clearly don't exonerate him,
I know that's
and in my opinion, do the exact opposite. He says total exoneration. Total exoneration.
I know that's right, baby.
A big win for Donald. Big win for the Donald, everybody. The Epstein files exonerating Donald. That's the new Donald Trump claiming he won the election in 2020. He's just going to repeat it over and over and over again, like the demented, psychotic individual that he is. And it's important that we don't just get jaded by it and be like, no, you're implicated.
Welcome in, Mel.
And let's just set aside the files for a moment. Donald Trump's on audio bragging about sexually assaulting women. Donald Trump's on audio saying he inspects girls from his beauty pageants naked because when you are the head of the pageant, you get to do it. He says he grabs women by their vaginas because when you're rich, they let you do it. He's bragging about sexually assaulting women. And he says to high school students that he spoke in front of that it's locker room talk and it's courageous to say these things. He's a sicko. These are all sickos, these people. I don't know how to describe it. Here's Donald Trump on Air Force One. Play this clip.
So Hillary Clinton said in an interview today that she and her husband are getting pulled into the Epstein matter to divert attention from you and that your administration has something to hide. What's your response?
I have nothing to hide. I've been exonerated. I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein.
That's the biggest lie.
They went in hoping that they'd find it and found just the opposite. I've been totally exonerated. In fact, Jeffrey Epstein.
Somebody send me the documents where the cheddar color cult leader has been exonerated from Epstein file. I need to know. I need to see that. Grazer, I remember beauty pageants. Yep. He was right there, wasn't he?
He was fighting that I don't get elected with some author, a sleazebag, by the way. And I've been totally exonerated. No, they're getting pulled in. And that's their problem. I don't know. They got to see what happens. But I watched her in Munich, and she seriously has Trump derangement syndrome.
Do you think that she should publicly testify?
I've been totally exonerated on Epstein. And it's really interesting because they've been pulled in. Think of it. They've been pulled in. Clinton and many other.
I don't care who tell it.
Oh, yes, Donald, that's right. Total exoneration. I mean, so utterly ridiculous. And also, while Donald Trump was on Air Force One,
Yes, it's
more
modeling too.
extortion of
Modeling and
Ukraine
package.
and Zelensky. You know, there's the trilateral conversations in Geneva that's taking place right now. And Ukraine's there, Trump's there, Russia's there. And Donald Trump's trying to once again extort, threaten, coerce, you pick the word, Ukraine into surrendering all of Eastern Ukraine. No ceasefire, just let Russia take it over. That's what's going on here. So that Trump and Putin's offering Donald Trump a fake.
Hold on, y'all. This is kind of off the subject, but on the subject. So I just got the notification that a car has been pulled out of Lake Lanier, and inside of the car, there were bodies in there. Again, y'all, you have to understand that these people who were racist flooded this town, Oscarville. Some of its citizens, some of its residents, they fled and left, but some didn't. They chose to stay, and they perished. Their lives perished in that flood. Lori, yeah, Lori, I don't know why people can't. I don't understand why people don't get it. Those same people who lost their lives due to a lie and a bunch of racist people are still, their spirits are still there. They are coming and claiming lives. I'm just trying to tell y'all. I've been there, Lord. That water is, it's black. It's black. And there is still a stadium underneath there. There's still houses underneath there. There's still streets underneath there. There's trees underneath there, y'all. I mean, trees, real trees, tall trees, like outside trees. Not what I don't understand what people are not getting. I'll even take it a step further. Not only did they flood Oscarville and kill you've been there, Greg. So you know I'm telling the truth. Not only was it BLK people in the community there, but y'all have to understand there was ancient burial grounds from the indigenous people that was there. They disturbed that. Yep. Central Park was built same thing. Because we was talking about this opening up, I wanted to stop because that just popped up. And understand this is something that happens pretty frequently at Lake Lanier. It's a big lake. It's a huge resort now. Shout out to my boy Ali for doing a movie on that. If you have Amazon Prime, please go and look up Lanier. My homeboy did a great job directing that movie. He is one of the stars in the movie. That's called Lanier. Go and check it out. It's on Amazon Prime. But I wanted to stop and make sure I put that out there, man. Look, Greg's had been on the water in a boat. Listen, before we knew all about this, Greg, we got us a little Airbnb out there, and you know they got them little things, you know, where you pedal it with your feet, and it's like a little, like a little 3-wheeler kind of thing. And I looked over on the side, brother. Turn that thing around. It's dark. I've never seen black water. Black. And some people who've almost drowned it, they like, man, look, something was pulling my leg. Something was pulling my leg. Something was pulling me down in there. And just think about this, y'all. There has been a guy that was an Olympic swimmer that died in there. So it ain't like he didn't know how to swim the distance or anything like that. He knew what he was doing. Went down and never resurfaced again. So I don't know why people keep playing with it. Yes, Greg, it's a lot of unalive in there. I'm talking about it's commonplace. It's commonplace now to us. Right, Tater? People die there all the time. Like, I have no desire to go there. Hey, Lord.
What's up?
No much, baby girl. What you up to?
I was going to tell you that you mentioned once before that you had been to Paducah, Kentucky.
Oh yeah, we wrestled in Paducah, Kentucky. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Barkley Lake was built the same way. They flooded Golden Pond. Homes, businesses, cemeteries, everything. TVA done it here. The Tennessee Valley Authority done it to build Lake Barkley and Kentucky Lake.
Oh, I got to look that up. I didn't even know that. You schooling me to something.
It was a little town called Golden Pond. And
That's Kentucky, right?
Yes, sir. Kentucky.
Golden Pond.
Trigg County, Kentucky.
Oh, got it right here. Got it right here. Golden Pond, Kentucky was a former town in western Trigg County, 1882 to 1969, now serving as the headquarters location for the land between Lakes National Recreation Area, located 11 miles southwest of, what's that, Cadiz?
Cadiz, yeah.
Cadiz, okay. It houses the Golden Pond Visitor Center, a planetarium, and an observatory. It is known for its history as a bustling prohibition era town, and it's located within a major recreational area.
So
Key aspects.
Land between the lakes.
Oh, you was right. Formerly a community that was displaced by the creation of the LBL. It was
Land
once
between the
known for
lakes.
moonshine. That's
Land between
I
the
never
lakes.
knew that.
Yep, the TVA flooded it to build Barkley Lake.
Mm-hmm. Kentucky Lake and Lake Barkley. Yep, that's what it say.
And Kentucky Lake and Barkley Lake are the two biggest man-made lakes in the country.
See, this country it's got history of this, y'all. It's got history. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, so the things that the Cheddar Color Code leader is trying to do to erase history, this country's history is so heinous. You're not going to be able to get rid of it. The best thing to do is face it head on, take accountability, and just make it better going forward.
Okay, that piece of property, land between the lakes, LBL, all that.
Right, Greg.
That's about 60 miles from Paducah.
See, I never even knew. If I'd have known that, I'd have been paying attention.
Hey, stick with me, brother. I'll get you closer to God.
I'm rocking with you. Look, seatbelt on. Let's go, Best. I appreciate you for dropping that nugget on me. I never heard about that.
Yeah, and
I love history.
I didn't want to type all that out, but I thought, now wait a minute, there's another town that did that way too. I don't know if it was BLK, if it was YT, if it was both, but out of all the towns and businesses there's one business that they put on a barge and moved it down the river and then put it back on land. I don't remember what it was called, but it should. Yeah, look up Trigg County history.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to play the audio, but while the audio's playing, I'm going to be researching this.
Okay.
Because I want to see if it's similar, because it sounds similar to Lake Lanier.
It's exactly the same, yeah. cemeteries and everything.
I appreciate it. Stay right there. You don't got to go nowhere.
$12 trillion deal that's just total BS, because the entire GDP of Russia is $2 trillion a year. But here's Donald Trump trying to shake down Ukraine. Here, I'll play this clip.
You're going to have Ukraine talks tomorrow as well in Geneva with Witkoff and Jared.
Yeah.
What are you expecting there? Is there
they're big talks? It's going to be very easy. I mean, look, so far, Ukraine better come to the table fast. That's all I'm telling you. We are in a position, we want them to come.
And while that's going on, I mean, Trump has sent Marco Rubio to Hungary. He's in Budapest and he's propping up Viktor Orban, and he's saying, we want you to do well. We're rooting for Hungary as long as Orban's the president. You know, we all know Orban is a Putin bootlicker. Orban is part of the Epstein class. And there are a group of these, you know, right-wing oligarchs and authoritarians. And Epstein, in the emails, in the files that we've covered, you know, is all about propping up these types of right-wing MAGA leaders. Steve Bannon's in there talking about this. And they want to destroy liberal democracies. Democracies, they want to destroy the European Union. They want to prop up these right-wing MAGA people. That's the goal of this right now. This is an international in scope, the Epstein class. Trump's their vessel in the United States. Orban's their vessel in Hungary. Javier Milei is their vessel in Argentina, right? Pierre Poilievre was going to be their vessel in Canada. Nigel Farage is their vessel in the UK. Le Pen and her party is the vessel in France. The AFD is their vessel in Germany. I mean, by the way, while Marco Rubio is in Hungary, you have Alice Weidel from the AFD, one of their leaders in Hungary, with Peter Sidarto, one of their leaders in the Orban regime. They're all there. This is a coordinated effort of right-wing fascist Epstein class people, cabal, trying to shut down democracy, to destroy democracies, and then steal from people in the chaos, rip their money while engaging in all this horrific conduct. So here's what Rubio said when he's there. Let's play this clip.
We want you to continue because we want this economy to prosper. We want this country to do well. It's in our national interest, especially as long as you're the prime minister and the leader of this country. It's in our national interest that Hungary be successful. It helps America, and obviously it helps you.
Here's Rubio again saying, I can tell you, Viktor Orban, our president loves you. We stand by your side. And by the way, Orban gets all of his oil from Russia. So remember when Donald Trump was like, if you get your oil from Russia, you get sanctioned. Oh, okay. Remember Donald Trump's like, I've stopped India from getting their oil from Russia. No, you didn't. No one believes anything you say. You're just full of crap. Everything you say is a lie. You're a pedo protector. You're disgusting. It's all a lie. It's all a farce. You're a fraud. You're a felon. You're a sexual abuser. You're a bankrupter. Your whole life has been being a freaking loser. And I guess you have one talent is you can con people into freaking voting for this ridiculous stuff, but you're utterly exposed right now. Everyone knows what you're doing. Anyway, here's play Rubio again.
It is the kind of thing that I think, for example, I can say to you with confidence that President Trump is deeply committed to your success, because your success is our success. Because this relationship we have here in Central Europe through you is so essential and vital for our national interests.
Going through some additional facts. I'll talk about this in some of the morning videos I'm going to be making today. You have the New Mexico legislature unanimously starting a truth commission to look into the Zorro Ranch. It's the ranch that Epstein bought in 1993. Actually bought it from a former governor of New Mexico. Epstein lived in that ranch until the time he died, allegedly by suicide, which
that's the property that allegedly there's bodies buried on from Epstein.
We all know at this point it's likely not what went down. Interestingly, the ranch was sold in 2023 for about half its value or half its price to a GOP politician, Don Huffines, who's running for Texas comptroller, a MAGA Republican, a fifth-generation Texas businessman whose grandpa made a fortune in the automobile industry.
All right, y'all, we're gonna stop it right here. They've restricted us for 10 minutes. We're on a 10-minute restriction, so we won't finish this video. I don't care, y'all. Whatever. Again, every time we telling the truth, they don't like it, but they don't mind us talking about this the celebrity stuff. They don't mind that. It's just when you talk about the cheddar color coat leader and Trumpstein files, they don't
Death Row
they don't
Records
like
that
that.
eventually
They don't like that at all. So all right, we're gonna move on, man. Yeah, right. They can't stand the truth, boy. I tell you. As long as we on here talking about the BLK culture and celebrities and stuff like that, we can dog them, we can call them everything but a child of God, and it ain't nothing, no flags gonna happen. But the moment you talk about the cheddar color coat leader and his nasty, spoiled jar of mayo looking ass, they want to flag you. They want to put some warnings up there. They want to do that. So we are down for 10 minutes, y'all, but that's all right. We'll keep on going. Y'all get the point. And I still say what I said before, TikTok. It's a beautiful thing that everybody came together, different races, and protest outside of his Plaza Hotel and said they want him out. They want him removed. He shouldn't have never been there anyway. He didn't win the competition. They rigged it. So go ahead, flag that. Flag that. All right, y'all. So check it. No, I thought that was the last one. They got me so mad I done skipped over my next segment. Hold on, y'all. All right, y'all. So our next segment, we're going to go in here. Right, sis. Bad. We're going to go into our next segment. Y'all, we've been talking about this death row thing. We talked about Pac. We were talking about Suge. We also spoke on Snoop owning death row and Suge saying that that's not true. He don't. However, whichever way it lies, Snoop is currently running things over at Death Row. But Danny Boy has something to say. You know, your character, when people start talking about your character and there's multiple people saying the same thing, well, I tell you what. Let me stop talking. Let's just put what we know. We've had Daz say that Snoop has done wrong by him. We've got a cousin of Snoop through marriage. She was his cousin, saying that he raped her. And now we have Danny Boy calling out Snoop for giving him a fake chain and revealing how Snoop mistreated him. So when you take that, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Jenny, I forgot what Kim said about him in the book. Right, Lori, if the shoe fits, put the damn shoe on. That's your shoe. That, you know, and so apparently, even though we've seen Snoop cooking with Martha Stewart, and he's doing the Olympic thing now. Apparently, he's not a good person at all. Yeah, him too, love. So let's listen. Y'all keep double tapping that screen. Share out the live. I appreciate it. Thank you all for sending the gifts.
What's up, my bro? I ain't seen you in a minute, man. I appreciate being on, and you know I'm always loving coming on here.
Yes, indeed. It's been a while since I had you, man. It's been a long time. All eyes on me. I know the anniversary for that just passed, the 30th.
I like that. She said, "Token always gets
paid for that, yeah." I know the last time me and you spoke, you was telling me how you wasn't getting paid. I don't know if
Jenny
anything
said Snoop took Diddy's spot.
I mean, you know, I get my
he's doing a lot of Diddy-like things
that pay artists. You know what I mean? With all the streaming that's going on, so I get certain pays with, you know, I'm sure certain money that's out there that I haven't seen yet. But you know, for this to be the 30th anniversary,
I love to get Danny Boy.
I'm excited, especially to see that I think it did something with the Grammy Hall of Fame or something like that. Yeah, so that's just pretty dope, bro. That's pretty dope. But you know, as far as it's changed a little bit because I got small organizations, you know, like a Sound Exchange that you know they pay you pretty decent. But as far as directly receiving something from that estate or whoever controlled that music,
Big Mel, if you catch him Can you?
I
Can
don't
you? Do you
receive
mind
anything from them.
asking?
Wow. So you still not getting everything you
Nah,
Send me an
nah. If
invite.
there's anything else
I
out
would
there,
love to
no,
have him
absolutely
on.
not. I get the tools and fuse, monthly, the things that's added on to
Okay,
the
I
royalties
appreciate it,
that
brother. Thank you.
we get as featured artists. But I don't think it's anything, I didn't receive anything within the last 2-3 years that's worth talking about. Not at all.
Because I know that I
that'll
Ain't
work.
Mad at Shit. That's one of the, biggest records on
Yeah.
All Eyes on Me.
Yeah, man. And when it was a ringtone, man, I really missed out. So I don't know, man. I don't know who's running the estate, and I don't know who pay all those behalves. The music has changed so much, it not being the records, or even though people are moving towards vinyls and people are moving towards CDs again, the streaming game kind of got things so, confusing. But the little twos and fews that I get, I'm grateful for it. But I don't think it's everything that's connected to it. Hell no, I'm not getting there.
Did you even get a plaque yet for All Eyes on Me?
I got one plaque. What's the dude name? Snoop Dogg. He gave me a plaque when I went down to meet with him. I got a plaque from him.
Speaking of Snoop, what happened between both of y'all? Because I know at one point both of y'all was real cool and y'all was making records, and I was happy for you, man. And out of nowhere, y'all just started, going at it. You was calling him out. Like, what happened, yo?
A lot of people, because as I was saying some of the things, it kind of made me kind of back off of it, because, I be getting everybody opinions in my inbox and on the post. And, people don't understand, a lot of people's like, well, he don't owe you nothing, and I just think, out of meeting Snoop again and being faced one-on-one, especially in a time and day in a space like what we're in. What do I mean by that? All of us had an opportunity to see the Snoop Dogg story, where he was kind of messed over by death row, and, he had an opportunity for Master P to come in and help him get his situation right. So it would look like, you would think that the artists that he come intact with, that he have the opportunity to do that for, you would think that would be some of the things, that he would convey out, that he would push as well, because he know what it's like to be bullshitted over. And, as he told me, in the ending of it, he didn't sign me. I wasn't a part of Death Row. Suge brought me around. And it was a lot of bullshit that he said in the end. But how this started out was, I put out a record with the independent company that I was with. And the record was doing pretty cool. This song, and it did number 10 on the Billboard. And I was grateful. I was having an opportunity to have some movement, and people were able to hear me for music, not just talking and doing interviews or, just some of the little shows that I was doing. I was being able to do exactly what I love doing, and that's singing. And my shit started moving up the charts. And out of nowhere, Snoop hit me up. I didn't go looking for Snoop at all. And his conversation to me when he hit me up is he didn't wait. It wasn't this person that put him with me or this person that put me with him. It was God that brought this opportunity together. And he said how gifted I was, and, he just wanted to be able to take my stuff to the next level, and you doing good, we got to get together. He just started saying just selling a lot of stuff to me. And I'm listening to it because, again, this is a person that I've been on here talking about, Snoop, you know what I'm saying? But just the nostalgia of being able to go back and be around Death Row and, get some of those good records out and have somebody like a Snoop Dogg. So you would think behind the records that you're doing, because I'm doing records without him. You know what I mean? And shout out to Toxic, and I'm doing these records, and he contacted me, and he's selling me all this bullshit. And after I got with him, we got together, we did some recording, and we did the recording, and we put the video out, one of the, smoking songs, and then we did the video, and then we did a song that he helped me put out. But when he gave me
Big
the
Man
agreement,
say his
I
lives
waited
be
a little
having
while,
40
and,
to 50 to
he's telling
100
me in the interim
on a
of
good
it,
day.
I'm gonna make sure
On his
behind
live,
closed doors,
sometimes he has
motherfuckers
a
know that
small
I've put
platform.
you. I'm gonna make sure that you straight.
Okay,
You know
make
what I
sure
mean?
you
Because when I
send
went
me
to him, I was honest with him.
share it
I'm
with
with
me
an independent label. The
if you
deal
catch
finna end.
please,
You know what I
sir.
mean? So with the deal ending, that mean the bread finna run out from what I'm putting into this record, what we putting into radio. That budget ain't gonna be no more. And at this time, my deal was gonna end with them, and these people were gonna give me I asked them for $75,000 to sign my project again. And they agreed to give me $50,000 to sign me again to do another record. And you know, I got to be honest, it wasn't really nothing really wrong with my situation. There was some things that I didn't like, but we were doing pretty good and moving forward. And, you know, now this nigga come in or this creep come in and he started telling me, oh, I'm going to do this. And, you know, we got together. And when we did the video, you know, he give me this death row chain. I get back to the west side of Chicago. I'm excited because I'm getting the opportunity. You know what I mean? Hopefully this is the spotlight that I need to get on the stage that I'm trying to get to. You know, and as everybody say, Uncle Snoop, you know, I definitely don't refer to him as no damn uncle. Like maybe I should, because there's a few uncles that I don't like. Maybe he's one of them. And so he offered me, you know, he gave me this chain, I put it on, and I'm living in the middle of the hood. Nice spot, but I'm in the hood where it go down at with this death row chain on. It's heavy, it's diamonds on it. You know what I mean? And so I'm, you know, I got my piece in my pocket, my fingers, you know, I'm protecting myself, and I'm walking through here, and you know, and within all of that time, Snoop sent me an agreement. You know, I'm thinking we're going to get an opportunity because I sent him a record. I sent him about 12 to, I got a new album done, and I sent him a mixed album. And you know, man, it's fire. We're gonna put this shit out. You know, let's make this happen. And shit, he gave me a contract, and the offer that he gave me was $10,000. He offered me $10,000, and then after offering me $10,000, when I looked in the agreement, you know, because I'm looking at it and my attorney looking at it at the same time, and I don't know if he think that I'm like one of these artists that don't, like, I got off of Death Row Records from studying the damn contract, and he put this contract in front of me for a $10,000 advance for two singles.
That's Diddy moves right there.
For two singles. And I'm in a group text with him and his A&Rs, and I sent a text because he told me to keep them abreast of what they saying. So I sent a text in a group chat, and I told them that I was perplexed.
Yo, Snoop just made him miss out on a $50,000 deal and offered him $10,000. A $10,000 deal. Only to screw him over with that. That's messed up.
What I was perplexed about, I was perplexed about the offer, the money that he offered me. Because you offer me $10,000 for? I'm not saying I don't appreciate it, but like $10,000. Then we look further in the agreement. The contract was going to keep me 7 years exclusively to him. Meaning I couldn't do nothing
messed
else.
Up and shady. That's right, baby.
So I'm going to shut my shit down for you for 7 years for $10,000. I look like a smoker. And I'm trying to, and Snoop sent a nasty text back like,
Jimmy said, Dad said that's what he did to him. It's always
what I
contract.
did for you.
Yep.
I did out of love, trying to help you. I got in your video, I charged for that. I got on a song with you, I charged for that. So recognize a blessing when you see it. That's what he sent me. So my management team, they got to calm me down, because I'm finna, if I'd have been in front of him and he said that to me, let me explain to you what would have happened. Those big guys that you see with him,
Big Mel said the video slip and slide.
They probably would have beat my brains out because I would have slapped the shit out of Snoop. Because you talking to me for like we men. I'm a man that didn't even bother him. I'm a man that I ain't call that nigga. Like, we too grown to like play games with each other. And at the end of the text that he sent me, you know, when he sent me that text, I held myself back. So my team like, man, just don't say nothing, D. This could be a great opportunity. I'm quiet. And he said something else smart to me, like about a week or so later. Like, cause we agreed, we agreed to do the two singles, because I'm thinking we're gonna do a record deal, put out an album. And he told me, I'm gonna help you put money behind the radio, and you know, he started telling me all these things. And shit, no, man, he offered that $10,000, and I agreed to doing the $10,000 for the 2 singles. My team, like, we need this Special Kind of Fool, and we put the other song out. And So High and Special Kind of Fool is the songs that we put out. He offered the $10,000. After I signed the agreement, my lawyer took out all of the other stuff of keeping me exclusive. His lawyer sent back and said, we made a mistake. We made a mistake. Danny portion is $7,000 because the producers have to be paid. Snoop producers got to be paid. So ultimately, I made $7,000.
Yes,
I needed it because
50 to 7,000. Yeah,
we got
to meet up somewhere and box this
at
one
least
out.
$50,000. The lady's ready to sign me again. So when a person asks me why I'm so upset, or why was I upset? Because I ain't upset now because, man, I keep telling people, I don't give a damn what you have. I don't give a damn who you are. Karma.
Nah, he ain't give him no Vaseline.
You always get it. You're going to get back what you put out.
I mean,
and I don't care. You can be a person with so much money. Money don't bring happiness.
A quarter on the nightstand.
Like with me, you're gonna go through something. That don't mean I'm not a threat. You're gonna have a spiritual battle. With me, because I'm not fucking with you. You mess with my gift. You mess with my music. And in the midst of this, I'm checking everything out. I'm gonna go get this chain clean.
Right, Taylor. She said that's just messy. Facts.
Snoop took this off his neck and put it on my neck in the So High video. And I went to go get the chain cleaned, and I'm like, shit. The person I took it to was like, shit, you want to clean it? He's like, what's this? I'm like, what you mean, what's this? Man, I don't know if I should have thought if it was real or not, right?
They gave him a fake chain.
But shit, like even the little fake shit that I wear, it's. I mean, let's not even say cubic. What's the other ones that you wear? This Morrisonite.
Yeah, glass all of
this shit ain't. Yeah. This ain't shit. This shit ain't worth shit. So not only did you f with me while I had shit going on, you kind of put me in danger.
I wonder if that's why.
Because where I was living, a nigga would have thought this was worth something.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
But I don't think he considered that. He just wanted to look like, just like what he do with everybody else. I'm gonna pass out all these motherfuckers. What is this, a fucking baddies chain? I'm not no motherfucking baddie
chain. Oh my God.
The fucking Natalie Nunn ass nigga. If I wanted a chain, by this time I would have saved up and got one. I damn near lose all of them when I get them. And I sure enough can afford a Morrisonite chain. You put this shit out on me, you give me this shit, put this on my neck, I'm going back. You're doing all this shit on the internet to be the clown that he is on the internet. To make it look like he's this good guy. But everybody else talk about him. Y'all ain't hearing good story. What? Give me a good story about him outside his ass running in the Olympics. Or whatever he's doing with the Olympics.
I'm telling you,
being on the fucking cake box or some shit. All that nigga talked to me about when we talked was God. I'm really thinking like, damn, that's cool. Man, get your ass out of here. You reap what you sow, man. And they ain't even bitter no more about it. Like, sit back. Everybody that did a person wrong that a motherfucker and Googled on the internet and seen the wrong that they done, all of them people has had a bad time in their life. And they're put in a position where they don't understand, like, they're not going to be able to make, because they don't understand hard times. Snoop don't understand what a hard time is. So God will come to him in a whole nother way. I don't wish no hate upon him. I ain't mad at him.
Right, sis, that's what I'm saying.
No pun intended. I ain't mad at you.
I think Snoop ain't
keep
good
pushing.
like we.
But that was some fake ass, just as fake as this chain is, that is. This shit ain't worth shit. I'm finna put it. I tried to sell it, a motherfucker wouldn't buy it. I tried to do an auction on it, thinking that because it came off of his neck, a motherfucker didn't want it. What am I gonna do with it? Guess I'll put it in a little box and put it next to my one plaque that I have.
So Snoop, he's the one that reached out to you.
Reached out to me. I got video calls of the nigga calling me. Cause I'm excited. Like shit, my folks excited in the background, recording, like Snoop on the phone. This finna happen. Call me.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, man. I hate to hear that, man. And you thought that chain that he gave you was real.
Man, yeah, pull it up closer. I mean, good costume jewelry. But the world we living in, this will get you hurt if somebody think this shit real. If it was Moissanite, I'd keep it on my neck. Shit, if it was real some metal, I don't know it's a damn dog chain. Baddies. Shot a clock ass in it.
Dude, man. Shout out to Art of Dialogue and Danny Boy. That's wrong, man, to do him that way. Especially if he already had an independent deal and they were willing to pay him 50 G's, man. You supposed to leave that alone, man. Dang. Bella B said, WTF, someone reported one of my comments. For real? I'm flagged. I'm flagged. So I think it might be over now. We had a 10-minute warning. Everybody tripping, man. Like it ain't look, I don't even understand why people report anything. If you don't like what somebody say in the comments, leave. If you don't like what we talking about in here, leave. Like, yo, I don't understand people doing that, man. But now, like I said, here's where I fall out with this freaking platform right here, man, because like I said, there was another content creator. This is the BLK guy, but he sat here showing other black people being strange fruit, dangling from trees. And then when some people report that, they like, well, we don't see nothing wrong with it. But they be quick to want to flag, man. They ought to be referees in the NFL. They throw so many flags on our platform, man. Like, for real. I don't understand. I believe you, Bella Beach. I was just stating a history fact. I believe it. They don't like here's the thing. And that's what we was opening up with. They want to whitewash history, man. Like, just because you don't listen. Here's the thing. They can knock down all the buildings. They can knock down all the plaques of black people. They can sit here and say something didn't happen that we all know happened. And they ain't going to change history. Greg said, yeah, they killing me too. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, for why are we doing, like, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm not finna come on here and put the cheddar color code leader over. I'm gonna sit here and call him the botch AB that he is. His dusty ass should have ended up on his mama's forehead that night. Frankenstein looking at, Lord forgive me, but I'm just saying. I don't know, big man. We don't bother. That's the thing. We don't bother nobody. She said, nah, on the bed sheets. I'm saying it should have never. The swimming shouldn't have never went to the egg. But right, big man, we just be minding our business. We just say what the facts are, and we go with that. And on here, we don't be acting ratchet or whatever, man. Like I'm for real, y'all. In the mornings, man, I'll be driving, and I always go. I try to support other content creators, man, because I understand the game would be out here. I understand the hustle, but I'm talking about. I ain't even put my coffee in the cup holder in the truck good. And it's BFU. I said, dude, you can kiss my I don't give a damn. I'm like, how? Yo, it's 7 o'clock in the morning and y'all doing this?
That's why you don't see
nothing.
me post so much anymore, big brother. That's why you don't see me do TikToks too much. That's why you don't see me do TikToks too much anymore. Because ever since whoever took over TikTok, everything done changed. Cause you remember I used to do duets and everything all the time almost.
Yeah.
But I don't do it anymore. Not because it ain't worth it. Y'all they'll either flag my stuff or because I duetted with somebody, and if that duet got more whatever than the original video will get reported. And then my part of it gets taken down or something like that. That's why I just don't even bother anymore.
I don't blame you. It doesn't make sense. Like if we are sitting here and trying to bring people together, trying to create peace, stating facts, historical facts or whatnot, just because we're not gonna get on here and suck a fart out of the cheddar color co-leader behind, don't mean we should be flagged. And then if you get on here and you act like you don't have any good home training or good upbringing, they all for it. It's almost like TikTok is an extension of the Zeus network. Now, let's say Big Mel come on here and be like, F all of y'all, you dusty butt, or we come on here, your breath smell like belly button funk or something like this, then they all for that. They all for that. We going at it with each other and we creating chaos. They for that. But we try to conduct and carry on a live that's respectable and everybody coming together. They can't stand that. Like it's our fault that he messing with people not the age of consent. We ain't had nothing to do with that. And how you gonna get mad? It's in the news. Everybody know about it. Just because you flag somebody's account because you don't like what, and then you can't. It ain't like they give you the option to say anything back to them or anything like that. And then when they flag you and you appeal it and you win, they still keep it on your profile. Just so when they flag you, oh, you got too many flags. You got too many flags. Or we got to ban your account permanently. No, I won the 3011 appeals. So why you still, yo, man, look, that's why, look, man, I don't know. What's the other thing that, what's her name? Aztec Princess told us about. I go on there and I'll be thinking like, okay, well, let me try this out. Let's see. She said it's better over here. But I don't understand that. And then I be getting notifications, G Smooth, answer me. Can I call you? I'm like, yo, man, what? Y'all already tripping, man. I don't want to hop on nothing like that, man. Like, same thing with Snapchat. I had a Snapchat. It was rocking. This one lady, I don't know who she is, but she like, you single now? No, I'm married. Okay, I don't care. Okay, well, I can't help you. I don't do that. And so I completely just uninstalled my Snapchat. So then about 2 months ago, I'm like, okay, I've been off Snapchat for a while. I should be able to go ahead and download it again and hop back on that thing. So I did that. Nope. Right back at it. I'm looking to have a good time. I'm like, well, damn. I mean, we got Six Flags here. We got. You can go to Centennial Park. It's pretty fun. It's stuff like that. Like, don't get me wrong, guys. We like women too. Hey, Simply Kim. Yeah, I had to block. I had to block because your sister-in-law, boy. Shoot, if one syllable look out of place, she be ready to go. I'm like, man. I'm true story. I'm gonna say this, then we're gonna play this last segment. I'll let y'all have y'all day. True story. This lady, this young lady. Her name is Carrie. I met Carrie 2000, maybe 9 or 10, somewhere around there. Anyway, she lives in Alabama. But anyway, at the time, I had never met her, but she has a little girl, and I ain't gonna lie, the little girl she do look like she look like my daughters. I ain't gonna lie, and I came home from work one day. I pull up to the apartment. I'm getting out the car, locking the door, walking up the stairs to the apartment. And my wife said, "Why you didn't tell me you had another child?" I was like, "What?" She like, "You didn't tell me why you ain't told me anything about this one." I'm like, "Who is that?" Well, Carrie and our friends, we was conversating, and I guess she saw the picture of Carrie's baby girl. And I mean, like I said, she do look like my kids, but I had to tell my wife. I'm like, first of all, I'm thinking, how did I leave this morning, go to work, come home, and in between those 8 to 10 hours, I picked up another child? Like, I don't even understand. What are you talking about? I'm trying to think. Was I with me the whole time? Like, where was I at the whole 9 months? Who is the baby by? Like, like, and so when she showed me the picture, okay, my reaction might not have been the best reaction because clearly I could see that she was upset. But when she showed me who it was funny and I laughed. But the only reason I laughed is because I had never even met Carrie. And when I met Carrie, her baby was already here. I like to think that I'm well endowed, y'all, but I don't think it can reach from Georgia to Alabama. If that's the case, boy, look at here. And so as I'm laughing, and I see that she's looking at me like, "Why are you laughing?" Like she's getting ready to poke me, but I'm talking about. So I said, "Okay, now, babe, think about this. I got 8 kids. So if you know about the 8, if I had a knife, why wouldn't I tell you about the knife? What's one more?" She did just like this. She said, "You right." I'm like, "Yeah." Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, I shouldn't have laughed. We got to assess the situation. Some things that they be feeling serious about and it's really bothering them, we got to hold our laugh. You know? Yeah, I was wrong. I cracked up. Like, I was wrong for laughing. I was. I can admit that now. Then I was just like, oh man, that's like, dang. It was two things. It was two things because one, I was messed up for laughing because she seriously felt betrayed and hurt, like I kept something from her. But then I was also laughing at the fact that that's pretty weird how I've never met this lady, and her baby girl do look like my kids. And I had to think now, your boy been on that road in that wrestling career for some years. So I was like, okay, now, no. She from that part of Alabama. I hadn't been there. I've never been there before. So there's no way that we could have oochie coochie la 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 and had that. There's no way. There's no way. And especially at the age that her girl was at the time, there was no way I could have did that. You know? So that's what you missed what I said. What part did you miss? Marshawn, look, yeah, boy, like I was like, dang, I was bad. I ain't gonna lie, I was bad out there on the road. But yeah, where she from, far as I know, me and my mans, we had never touched nothing over in that way. So pretty much after you pulled up to yeah, you missed it, yeah. Yeah. So I was saying how my wife, she was on the porch. She was outside the apartment on the porch as I got off work, man. And I mean, I'm feeling good. You get off work, you vibing to your music, you pull up. So I was still, you know, I locked the door, man. She came out on the top of the steps. "Why you didn't tell me you got another baby?" I'm like, who is this? Did I bring somebody home with me? Like, but yeah, and I'm like, man, so I was caught off guard, but like I said, she was mad. Taylor, she was mad. She was big mad. And I'm like, what you talking about? Which probably sound like I was lying already, but I'm like, what you talking about? You know? Yeah. So then she's like, why you didn't tell me about her? She didn't say this. She said her. Why you didn't tell me about her? I'm like, and then like I said, my first reaction was laughing because now that I see who you talking about, that baby was here when I met her mama. She was already here. She was already about 4 or 5 years old. And so there's no way it could be mine, you know? So I busted out laughing, Taylor. It was funny. And then she was looking at me like, boy, like she was going, get a knife. What you laughing at? She was really hurt. She felt betrayed, but I wasn't, you know. I found it funny because, like I said, when I met Carrie, she had already had Haley. So there was no way I could have been a part of that. She couldn't have 23 chromosomes of mine because she was already here when I met her mama. And like I said, where they from, where they live, I knew that me and my little mans, we didn't party in that part of Alabama. We never had been there. So there's no way that baby could have been mine. But then I was also laughing because now that she brought it up or brought it to my attention, Carrie's daughter do look like my kids. You know? And then after that, since it was a whole blow up, I would sit here and pretend every time, when I talk to Carrie, I'm like, hey, baby mom. And yeah, so she didn't find that funny neither. But all right, so we're gonna go on again, guys. Let's be mindful of when we laugh and where we laugh. Okay, let's make sure that the perimeter is clear. We're nowhere in front of our girl or ladies. Uh, and then if you in the bath, you can bust out laughing in the bathroom, outside, down the street at the store. That's fine, but not right there in the face. Not when she's feeling it right then. You know. So, oh, you be snapping like that too, sis? Y'all gotta look. You know, you just gotta think rationally, especially in this situation, though. Like I said, if I already got 8 kids and you know about 8, what's one more? So if she was mine, I would have told you. I got 9 kids.
I laugh in his face.
Oh, you laugh in his face? Okay, yeah. See, because it'd be funny, right? Like when you think about it, it's like, come on now, you just you be asking for them. Look, I didn't. I just came home from work and I just was minding my own. I thought I was good, just get hit upside the head. I did, but look though, Bessie, like, don't you think that's something we could have easily just talked about, discussed, like maturely? You get out the car and you just already in trouble, and you've been with you all day and you didn't do nothing, and then it escalate to you done picked up a whole. Okay, so y'all just think about it. Now you drive to work, you do your shift, you drive home, and in between you waking up that morning and leaving the house to you getting back, you done picked up a whole nother child. You ain't get to have fun making it. You don't even know where it came, how it feel, where it came from. You ain't never touched it, and now here you is in trouble. I'm like, man, I ain't even drunk enough for this. Like, I know I ain't here, but yeah, But yeah, moral of the story to my women too, because sis says she do it, but to my men too. Like, like this just not laugh. Everything ain't look. Everything has a time to be funny, and there's a time when it's not funny. And so when you're in the face and it's actually happening, that's clearly not funny. All right, but we good now. We good now, though. She, like I said, after I put it to her that way, let's do the math. If I got 8 plus 1 wouldn't be an issue, right? So, like, he said, my little brother said, I barely laugh as it is. Like, I laugh. Yeah. Well, that probably would have been a good time for me to take that approach. It's just funny. Like I said, like I said, somebody you've never met. I tell you what, little brother, I know. I'm gonna say this. and you'll see how it's funny. Remember when we was wrestling in Whitesburg at one show, and I pulled up, and Buck, remember Buck Buchanan? I think his name was Buck Buchanan, and he was like, "Hey G, I met your two kids," and I'm like, "I know ain't none of my kids come with me." He's like, "I didn't know you had two YT kids." I'm like, "Buck, what are you talking about?" I'm giving these people locker room talk now, but I'm like, "What are you talking about?" You know what I'm talking about, little brother. Danny Rose's wife went around telling that they kids is G Smooth's kids. They lily white. They porcelain white. Y'all see all my kids peanut butter, caramel. So we knew that equation couldn't happen. All this chocolate up here, unless they fluorescent mixed. that's a color. I've never seen fluorescent mixed, but if they that, then maybe, you know. My little brother said, "Man," and the fact Danny trying to co-sign on the joke, bruh, stop. Right. I see that. That's one thing I can honestly tell you about the wrestling industry, man. Like, some people don't know when not to play. And so, you know, me personally, if I'm Danny Rose and my wife is going around telling our two kids is a whole nother man, yeah, she better find a new ride home. Because and her stuff will be outside the door. We're not gonna do that. Just like, I don't know if you was back there, little brother, but we was in the back before the show started. We was back there hanging out one time, and I can't remember this dude's name. But at this particular point, your sister-in-law, my mother-in-law, they had came back there to talk to me before the show started. They came around back and was talking to me. So I'm sitting there talking to her, and I can't not remember who it was. I know she ain't gonna remember his name. Anyway, he walked by, and he's like, "Hey, G, I see you bought my girlfriend." I said, Ninja, I'll cut you. And I meant that right there on site. Like, don't play like that. And so then later on in the show, I don't know what happened to him, but he got in the ring, and I'm in the back chilling. They like, "Gee, he calling you out." And so when I went out there, you know, I'm still thinking about what he said out back before the show. So I had to give him a couple of shots and let him know I was there. You know, I was still feeling bitter about it. But yeah, man, they play too much. So I wouldn't have went along with that joke. And I didn't find it funny neither. And even now, them kids hit me up right now, telling me, "Hey, how you doing, Smooth?" And yeah, let's not do that. No, it was, he had a cowboy. He used to wear a cowboy hat. Gosh, what is his name? I can't recall. I can't remember. Yeah, Lord gave him a 2-piece and a biscuit with a soda on the side, boy. Don't play like that. Tell me, I see you bought my girlfriend, boy. What? Who is you talking to? You must not know about me, boy. I'm the one that come to the ring and put a blade behind the turnbuckle pad. So if you get out of fashion, yeah. I be trying to tell people, man. You go on YouTube and you see your boy setting people ablaze, man. That ain't got nothing to do with no wrestling. That's some things that still went wrong before we got up out there. And so, you know, that's just what it is. All right, y'all. So look, we're gonna close out this show with this final segment, but we kind of gonna stay on path or on course on what we have been talking about for the past couple of days when it comes to pot. So this says at 51, E.D.I. Amin confesses the hidden truth about Outlaw's members. Now, Outlaws was the group that ran with Pac. Those were his boys, man. He really looked out for them. Those were like his brothers, and they were really close to him. So let's just see if we can find out exactly what happened or how it was just being around Pac and being in the Outlaws.
It's beautiful, man. And you know, you try to live your life, especially when you've seen a lot of death like I have.
How many of the outlaws have died now?
Now I want chicken. You are crazy, Tater.
Out of a group of 5 or 6? 7.
E.D.I.
We had it last
has
night.
stayed quiet for years, but now at 51, he's laying out what really happened between the Outlaws members, from how Tupac's death changed the course of their entire journey.
Near fatal shooting, but he couldn't survive a second. Rap star Tupac Shakur died last night after a brief life in a rough business. He was 25.
To later contract disputes with Death Row Records that eventually turned into a lawsuit.
We was the brokers there.
Right.
By far. I don't know about paperwork or none of that. That's a whole nother story.
And even members fading out one by one, some passing away along the way. There's more to this. Let's dive in. The roots of the Outlaws go back well before 1992. Malcolm Greenridge, who would later take the name E.D.I. and Qatari Terrence Cox, later known as Castro, grew up together on the streets of New York. The two had known each other for years, moving through the same neighborhoods and sharing the same struggles that shaped a lot of young kids around them at the time.
Well, we grew up together. It was me and Malk grew up together when he was in Coney Island. His mother and my mother were close.
Castro was also Tupac's cousin, though that family connection wouldn't really play a big role until later on, when music started bringing everyone together. At some point, both E.D.I. and Castro relocated to New Jersey with their families. It was there that they crossed paths with another member of Tupac's extended circle, Yaki Gaddafi. The three bonded quickly, and before long, they started seriously thinking about forming a rap group.
You know, Yaki and Malk knew each other. E.D. knew each other. Not really. They didn't really know each other until I brought them together, though. When one summer when E.D. moved to Minnesota, me and Yak went out there for the summer, and then they kind of start kicking it from there.
In its earliest form, the group came together in 1992. Back then, it wasn't called the Outlaws yet. The trio experimented with several names,
Hey, Tater,
including
thank you for them
Thorough
TikToks,
Heads
love.
and
I
Young
appreciate
Thugs,
it.
as they tried to figure out their identity and sound. They were young, hungry, and determined to make something happen. Around this same time, Tupac was beginning to build his own reputation in the rap world. Even as his fame started to grow, he never lost touch with the friends and family he had come up with. By 1993, Tupac began pulling some of them into his own projects. He featured Malcolm and K-Dog on the B-side of his single Holler If You Hear Me, on a track called Flex. It wasn't a huge spotlight yet, but it was an early step. Recruitment continued into 1994. One important moment came when Yaki Gaddafi's mother, Yasmin Fula, told Tupac about a teenager named Muta Beal. Beal had gone through unimaginable trauma, witnessing the murder of his parents when he was only 3 years old.
And one day they came in as if it was a normal visit, took out weapons, killed my father, shot him in the chest one time. Instantly he died. My mother, she was running around the house grabbing me and my brothers. They shot her 7 times, 13 times before she passed away.
The story hit Tupac hard. He wanted to meet the young man personally, and not long after, Beal became part of the circle. Fans would later come to know him as Napoleon.
So for me, I was surprised to see that someone reacted over the story of the death of my mother and father the way he did, to the point that I was trying to tell him, like, no need to cry. And that day and from that meeting, every time that they came back to New York City, they would call me and I would go over there and meet them.
With the core members coming together, it seemed like everything was finally lining up. Then, life took a sudden spiral. On November 30th, 1994, Tupac was shot 4 times and robbed inside a New York studio lobby. The incident shocked the entire hip-hop world, but things only got worse from there. The very next day, he was arrested on SA charges, and by 1995, he was convicted and sentenced to prison, facing up to 4.5 years behind bars. While Tupac was locked up, the group kept pushing forward. At the time, Castro, E.D.I. Yaki Gaddafi, and Napoleon
were performing under the name Dramacidal, still using their original stage names and trying to build momentum on their own. They stayed active, recording and looking for any chance to get their music heard. Their first major exposure as a group came when they appeared on 2 tracks from Tupac's 3rd album, Me Against the World, which was released while he was incarcerated. Dramacidal showed up on the title track and on Outlaw. They also appeared again on the single So Many Tears, which included their song Hard to Imagine.
So hard to imagine. Where will I be this time next year?
These appearances gave listeners a glimpse of the chemistry the group had and hinted at what they might become. Not long after, their work on singles and mixtapes began attracting attention from Interscope Records. It looked like Dramacidal might land a major label deal on their own. But before anything could be finalized, Tupac's situation changed in a big way. In 1995, after serving about 8 months, Tupac was released from prison for a deal reportedly worth around $1.4 million, arranged by Suge Knight and backed by Death Row Records,
everyone says Suge,
Interscope,
not sure.
and Time Warner.
Suge, not Lord.
Because it seemed like that was a power move. You know what I mean? And even Pac was like, I'm going to Death Row and it's on. You know what I mean? We found out after he already made his mind up.
I said,
the condition was that Tupac sign a 3-album deal with Death Row. Once he was free, Dramacidal was flown out to Los Angeles to reunite with him. Almost immediately, they got to work in the studio, contributing to what would become Tupac's massive double album, All Eyes on Me. It was a turning point, not just for Tupac, but for the group as well. During his time in prison, Tupac had been thinking ahead. He wanted more than just a loose group of collaborators. He wanted a full-fledged rap collective, something powerful and unified. He spoke with Yaki Gaddafi, also known as Young Hollywood, and asked him to start looking for new members who could strengthen the lineup. The original Dramacidal members would form the foundation, but Tupac wanted to expand the group's reach and energy. One of the first new recruits was Bruce Washington, a friend of Yaki's. Washington even visited Tupac in jail, and according to stories, Tupac had him rap on the spot to prove himself. Washington delivered, and he was in. Next came Mopreme Shakur, Tupac's brother, and Tyrus Big Sky Himes from Thug Life, both of whom Tupac already trusted and had worked with before. With them on board, the group had grown into a solid 8-man lineup. Tupac also introduced a unique idea for the group's identity. Every member had to adopt a name inspired by historical or political figures considered enemies of the United States.
When Tupac put together the Outlaws, he gave each member a name that was an enemy of the United States. Is that pretty much correct?
That is accurate.
That's how Malcolm became E.D.I. I mean, Big Sky became Mussolini, K-Dog became Castro, Mopreme became Komani, Muta became Napoleon, Bruce Washington became Hussein Fatal, and Young Hollywood became Yaki Gaddafi. Tupac himself took on the name Machiavelli, the Don, inspired by the Italian philosopher Niccolo Machiavelli.
Going forward, we're going to be the Outlaw Immortals. And I'm taking the name Machiavelli. And we all going to have aliases. You're going to be Castro, and you're going to be Gaddafi, and you're going to be Hussein, and you're going to be E.D.I. Amin. And some of us picked our own name, and some names he picked.
The names gave the group a rebellious, almost militant image that matched the tone of their music. At first, Tupac considered calling the group the Little Homies, but not everyone liked the idea. Hussein Fatal, who was close to Tupac in age, didn't want to be labeled a little anything. He suggested the name Outlaw Immortals instead, and it stuck. With the lineup finalized, the only thing left was to make music. Members of the group appeared throughout All Eyes on Me in different combinations. Sometimes they showed up individually, sometimes as Dramacidal, and occasionally as Outlaw Immortals. As a full group, they appeared on When They Ride, but their presence was felt across tracks like All About You, Tradin' War Stories, Thug Passion, Picture Me Rollin', Check Out Time, All Eyes on Me, and Run the Streets. Around this same period, Tupac also introduced a female rapper named Storm, who appeared on 3 songs on the album. According to some accounts, it was Storm who suggested shortening the group's name to simply The Outlaws, turning it into an acronym for Operating Under Thug Laws as Warriors. The name carried the same rebellious spirit, but was sharper and easier to remember. Then came one of their most iconic moments. On June 14th, the Outlaws appeared on Tupac's explosive diss track, Hit 'Em Up. The song targeted Biggie, but it also fired shots at Mobb Deep, Bad Boy Records, Junior Mafia, and Chino XL.
That real you've been waiting on is finally back.
Tupac's bold claim about Faith Evans made the track even more controversial, and the Outlaws backed him up with aggressive verses and appearances in the video. About 3 months after the diss, around September 1996, Tupac was shot in a drive-by in Las Vegas and later died. At the time, Gaddafi and E.D.I. Mean were in the car behind him. E.D.I. said he couldn't identify the shooter, while Gaddafi believed he might be able to, but the police never followed up on that lead. Not long after, the Outlaws packed up and moved back to New Jersey. 2 months after Tupac's death, his album, The Don Killuminati, The 7-Day Theory, was released. The Outlaws appeared on 4 songs: Bomb First, Hail Mary, Life of an Outlaw, and Just Like Daddy. Sadly, even though Hail Mary was released as the 3rd single and had a video, Death Row Records didn't credit the Outlaws and even cut them out of the video. Overall, 1996 was a terrible year for the group. Just 5 days after the album dropped, Tupac's close friend and right-hand man, Gaddafi, was shot and killed after visiting his girlfriend around November 10th. He was only 19 years old.
Machiavelli album dropped November 5th, 1996, and Gaddafi gets killed November 10th, 1996.
By the end of 1996, the Outlaws had gone through several changes. Some members went solo, others died, and a couple of new members joined, but didn't really make an impact. The lineup eventually shrank to 6. Around 1997, despite Tupac's warnings before his death, the Outlaws signed with Death Row Records. Fatal refused to go along with the deal and left the group. The remaining 5 members...
Hold on, I'm going to pause it right there. He just said that Pac warned them before he died not to sign with Death Row. So he already knew that that wasn't a good move. And I think that's what I believe it was you, Aztec Princess, who was saying why he made the album so fast so he could fulfill that deal that he agreed to get out of prison, do the albums, and then move on. But that just lets me. I think when it comes to me, I think that just again proves to us that they weren't as good as friends as Suge tried to, or Sugay, as Sugay tries to make it seem like.
Moved to Los Angeles to keep their careers going. But without Tupac and Gaddafi, the group struggled to find direction. It felt like they had lost the head of the operation. Between 1997 and 1999, they stayed mostly quiet, only popping up here and there as guest features on other artists' songs, including the Still Ballin' remix and tracks connected to the Thugged Out project. At one point, a new member named Gonzo joined, but he left after just 3 months without recording any music. Around the same time, the group planned to release an album called Never Surrender as part of their deal with Death Row and Rap-A-Lot, but the project fell apart at the last minute. Finally, in 1999, 3 years after forming and after losing their leader, the Outlaws released their debut album, Still I Rise. Tupac appeared on 14 of the 15 tracks, while Fatal was removed from songs he had recorded earlier. The only single was Baby Don't Cry, Keep Ya Head Up Too. The album did well, selling about 480,000 copies in its first week and going platinum less than 3 months later. After the album, Storm left the group. She had only recorded one verse for the project, did a few features afterward, and eventually left music altogether. Frustrated with Interscope and Death Row, the Outlaws tried to land another major label deal, but things kept falling through. In the early 2000s, they decided to start their own label, Outlaw Records. They signed several artists, including Napoleon's younger brother Hellraiser, Noble, Baby Girl, Dirty Birds, and Little D. They also secured a distribution deal through Bayside Entertainment, which helped them get their music out independently. On April 1, 2000, the Outlaws filed a $4.5 million lawsuit against Interscope, Suge Knight, Suge Knight Films, Suge Publishing, and Death Row Records. They accused the companies of unfair business practices, breach of contract, and other issues, and they eventually won the case. Around this time, Napoleon also revealed that Gaddafi's murder wasn't random. According to him, Gaddafi was killed by Roddy Beal, a cousin of Muta Beal, who was connected to the crew. Gaddafi's mother, Yasmin Fula, later confirmed this publicly, saying witnesses had been threatened and that the killing was deliberate. Later in November 2000, the Outlaws, now down to 4 members, released their second album, Ride With Us or Collide With Us, through their own label. The project included singles like Black Rain and Thug With Me. In 2001, New York rapper New Child briefly joined the group, bringing the lineup back to 5. But he left soon after, without recording anything. That same year, the Outlaws teamed up with Thug Life to release the collaboration album Thug Law, Chapter 1. After securing a new distribution deal with Cash Entertainment, they dropped their third album, Novocaine. The album produced their only charting single worldwide and also included a diss track aimed at Fatal called Loyalty.
Lord, thank you for the oldies. I appreciate that, Bessie.
After Novocaine, the Outlaws' connection to Tupac was starting to feel more distant, and the impact of that link wasn't as strong as it once was. The group also struggled with constant internal disagreements, and many critics felt their skills as a group were just average. Even so, they kept putting out music. One noticeable thing was that their albums were always released through different labels, which made it harder for them to build steady momentum or a consistent fan base. In 2002, they finally released Never Surrender, this time distributed through Rap-A-Lot Records. Not long after that release, Napoleon converted to Islam and left the Outlaws. He chose a completely different path, becoming a public speaker and focusing on his faith.
Most people might know me as a rap artist or a former rap artist that was involved with a rap group called the Outlaws. Alhamdulillah, about 18 years ago, myself also.
His departure reduced the group to just 3 core members. Still pushing forward, E.D.I, Castro, and Young Noble released their 4th album in 2005, titled Outlaw for Life, 2005 AP, with AP meaning After Pac, a reminder that they were still trying to carry on without their former leader. Around 2006, another member named Stormy joined the group and later appeared on their 2008 project We Want In, The Street LP. For a while after that, the group went relatively quiet in the mainstream. They continued releasing mixtapes, collaboration projects, and digital albums, but the buzz around them kept fading. By around 2009, the group changed again. Castro left to focus on his solo career, leaving E.D.I as the only remaining member from one of the newer lineups. Stormy also left after appearing on just one album, adding to the long list of members who had come and gone. Even with all the changes, the Outlaws kept working. They continued putting out mixtapes and eventually released their 6th album, Perfect Timing, about 3 years later. Shortly before that album came out, they confirmed a long-rumored story that Tupac had been cremated and that some of his ashes were mixed into a blunt and smoked by members of the group. The revelation shocked a lot of people and became one of the most talked about moments connected to the Outlaws in later years. 2010s. As the years went on, the Outlaws slowly faded from the spotlight. They were still active, but they weren't getting the same level of attention they once had. Then, in 2015, tragedy struck again when Fatal died in a car accident.
Oh, that was bad.
They said, do you know a Bruce Washington? And I was like, yeah, of course. And they was like, well, we need to speak to his, I immediately started crying. I'm like, tell me what happened to him. They wouldn't tell me.
The following year, former member Mussolini was found dead in his home in California, adding more loss to the group's long history of setbacks. Around 2016, the Outlaws released their 7th album, Livin' Legends. Over the next few years, they continued to drop more projects, but these releases mostly flew under the radar compared to their earlier work. Looking back, the Outlaws never really reached major success on their own. Without Tupac leading the group, it became difficult for them to stay relevant. Many listeners still saw them mainly as an extension of Tupac, rather than as a group that could stand fully on its own. On top of that, the constant changes in membership made it hard for fans to keep track of who was actually in the group at any given time. By the early 2000s, only Young Noble and E.D.I were left actively carrying the Outlaws' name. They continued releasing music from time to time, mostly on streaming platforms like Spotify, where they still maintained a modest following of around 450,000 monthly listeners. Some of their most played songs included Real Talk, Baby Don't Cry, Soldiers, Prayer, AM Worldwide, and Still I Rise. Sadly, in July 2025, Young Noble died by at the age of 47.
This one actually hit kind of close to home. Young Noble has died from suicide.
Some depression, financial things going on.
Yeah,
this is for educational purposes
His
only.
passing led to tributes from fellow artists and fans, and it also brought attention to the mental health struggles that many artists face, especially those who have lived through years of trauma and loss. Today, E.D.I remains the last surviving core member of the Outlaws, continuing to represent the group and keep its legacy alive wherever he goes.
Let me get that thumbs up. That's first of my listeners. Give it up to Black Star Chronicles. Wow. All right, y'all. Look, I got to go handle my daddy duties. Rudy is hungry. It's time for lunch. Thank y'all for rocking with me for another episode of hashtag I'm Gonna Say It. Shout out to my moderators. Thank you to all my gifters and uplifters. Hey, and thank you all for hanging with us. Let's remember tomorrow we got OCWAs. Oh, hold on, y'all. I ain't even playing. I'm all the way. I'm Bud, y'all remember. So that's what Rudy running everything. I'm hungry. Hurry up. But look though, y'all remember tomorrow, OCWA's Wednesday Night Wreckage goes down over on Twitch TV. You haven't subscribed to the channel yet, you go and subscribe to that channel, MC3 SFT9. And we start at 9 or 9:30. Which one we doing, little brother? He said, dang, tomorrow's Wednesday? Hey, this week flying by. When are we starting though? 9 p.m.? Okay, so yeah, y'all join us at 9 p.m. over on Twitch TV. Remember, if you hadn't subscribed to the channel, MC3 SFT9, you all are cordially invited to come have fun with us. Listen, let's get more people in there. Let's get some more people in there. Lori, Reaper, Jenny, thank y'all for rocking with us, man. Y'all be there. Y'all be definitely supporting us. But hey, other people that's in here, y'all come join us, man. Wild out with us for an hour and a half. Escape all this craziness going on, man, and just laugh and have fun. All right, you all consider this as an invite. Make sure you all go and follow Carolina Nexus. I think he did a show today. I think is the next one Thursday. I think he's doing the next one on Thursday. I have to get with him and find out. But let's also keep our brother Alex in your thoughts and prayers, man. Listen, I'm not gonna put his business out there. That's our brother, so I just want to make sure y'all pray for him. That's all you need to do. That's all we ask for you to do is just pray for him, all right? And also, if you like the content, man, and you want to donate, listen, we appreciate it. The CA is, it was up here. Sissa put the CA up here where you can send your donations to. Those of you that did give donations for shirts, you should have them by the 20th. Sis, your autographed picture should be there to you by the 20th. Okay? I want y'all to know I did handle my business. I still got some more I need to send out. But thank y'all. I appreciate that so much. There she go. Sis put it in there. That's the CA right there where you can make donations. Any and anything is appreciated. You know, it's not something that we forcing you to do or anything like that. But if you find it in your heart and you can, it's greatly appreciated. And we thank you all in advance. Y'all remember, man, hey, I've been your self-proclaimed favorite news reporter reporting live from the newsroom. We covered some things today. I thank you all for keeping a level head, although the platform didn't, but we are used to that by now. Oh, yeah, also, if you haven't went and followed MAGA Trapper, he's down here, the last one right here on the panel on the bottom. Give him a follow because he would appreciate it. And also, we can get that up. That way, when it's tripping on us over here, it gives us another place to go live at, right? And we can broadcast from that too. But also, it's another one too, Menace 2 MAGA. That's Menace the number 2 MAGA all together. Go and follow that guy too. He's a pretty swell guy as well. Both of them are swell guys, right? But go and follow him. That way we can get that up. And then if we need backups, we can definitely go live on that as well. Remember, a lot of the things we do will be posted on YouTube after the broadcast ends here. So if you came in late, if you missed it, you can go and watch the playback over on there. I definitely will get to that today. All right, sometime. So just keep checking in. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel over on YouTube, please go and do so. GSmooth404 on YouTube. Go to the hashtag I'm Gonna Say It folder, and you will see these episodes in that folder. All right. Remember, y'all can be anything in the world. Y'all be 2 things. Be somebody, and above that, be a child of God. I love y'all to life. Peace and blessings. Y'all be safe out there.